Oh, all right. That was weird. But I got some new well, it's not that's I lied. I'm not doing the recording system, the recording equipment that I'm using today. It's not new. I'm switching things around, so hopefully everything is up to snuff. I don't think it will be. I don't think any I hope these things are up to snuff. I don't think so. So um anyways. Oh man, but yeah, before I get on the tradcons today, before I even get on the tradcons today, let me just refresh your memory on the Diddy situation. Oh yeah, by the way, let me make sure my sound effects are working. Let me make sure my sound effects are working.
You don't force that for me. Come in and go answer that. Cause what you want to hear, if you the answer you want, you have to go and be for that.
Okay. Okay. I think everything is good. Hopefully my spelling is straight. I remember one show I did. My spelling was off. But anyways, this will be a short show. I'm trying to end this thing at 10 o'clock for real because I forgot. Usually, usually the day before gigs, especially if I have time, usually I do like a quick run through. I like to say it like that, a run through. I had a Jamaican coworker. I like the way she said said that we gotta do a quick run through. Anyway, I gotta do a quick run through of my stuff before I go on. Just in case if I'm missing a song that I forgot to go over. So I'm really trying to end this one at 10 o'clock today. So usually when it comes to this topic, I usually like to have the panel open. If I see AJ or Undead or one of these guys in the chat, maybe, but because I already know that they're gonna do their shows. They're only gonna do like 5 minutes of talking and then go back. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna open a panel only because I'm really trying to end this at 10 because I have a lot of things to do tonight before I prepare for tomorrow. I'm very like tonight, no 8 to 12. I can't do that tonight. Not tonight. But anyways, I promised to stream tradcon, going over the tradcon artists and going over because I have the perfect videos today to show. But anyways, let's go over Diddy real quick. Right? Diddy's in trouble, right? Um, I will be shocked. Me personally, I will be shocked if how do I say this? I'll be shocked if he's still alive. But seeing the amount of CEOs and amount of the certain celebrities and the entertainers that are stepping down from their positions and whatnot, you know, um, it's alarming. Hold on, let me do a quick test real quick. Let me do a quick test. Just want to make sure. Hopefully, my sound is working. Hopefully, my sound is working. There we go. It's working. Everything's all good. Everything's all good. Okay, just want to make sure everything's clear. But with Diddy, all right, cool. Thank you, man. Ah, my guy. Your favorite masked Texan. He said it's all good, man. Shout out to you guys. Hey, thank you. Hey, man. Doug MPA's in the building, man. Shout out to you guys. Um, but like I said, man, great to see you guys too. But just a quick run through on the Diddy situation. I'm gonna let 50 Cent explain it to you why Diddy's really in trouble. I'm gonna explain it to you why. Now, I'll be shocked if Diddy stays alive, but the amount of CEOs that are stepping down and the entertainers that are stepping down from their positions is alarming. So maybe the dirt is gonna come out, but we shall see. We shall see. But we're gonna let 50 Cent tell you why Diddy is actually in the trouble that he's in. And he's the perfect person to speak on this because he doesn't like Diddy at all. So I hope when 50 Cent says it, people can stop calling me a sympathizer or something. But anyways, let's let 50 Cent say it. Oh, the sound not on. Here we go.
My particular experience with Beam Centauri, it was great in the beginning. It's great for us to work for them. It's not so cool when you start to own things. You see what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money with them too. Like, there's a point they did a deal that mirrored what Puffy's deal with Diageo was for Ciroc. So he didn't have ownership of that at any point, but he was getting a lot of money, like almost like $60 million a year at one point. So you see him go to daily on is when you see him have some issues. And these people have really strong relationships. Don't think that the civil case doesn't turn into a criminal case faster because he's making them uncomfortable.
Fair use, by the way, fair use.
That's a big part of it. The spirits business it's not governed. They got a discus board that they created, right? If you got two companies that are $3 billion a year, and Beam Centauri and Diageo, the distribution level is very hard for. You have the experience with major corporations like me. My particular experience with Beam Centauri, it was
okay. Let's get to the second
to
clip.
get things to a point where you can do the numbers, the right numbers. They incentivize the sales force by giving them box bonuses. And then when you sell a product, you get the bonuses off the boxes that's there. But you make that no matter what product you're selling. So if you sell Hennessy or Remy out the gate, they start to put downward pressure on the new companies to get things to a point where you can do the numbers, the right numbers. They incentivize the sales force.
So in short term, in shorthand, he's telling you the reason why Diddy is facing the legal problems that he's facing is the fallout between him and the money that he thought he was owed or what he could gain with his Ciroc deal with Diageo, right? I think I actually had covered that specific story. I don't remember what episode it was, but I remember covering the fallout between them, and I was like, "Uh-oh." Like, and it was publicized. I remember covering this like 2 years ago or a year ago when the fallout actually happened. I was like, we got to be careful because when you're dealing with particularly, the spirits industry, right? The wine, the alcohol, the liquor industry, that is mafia owned. All right. The mafia never really went anywhere. These people are now in politics. They have their own vending machine businesses. They have their liquor businesses, right? They're in politics. They're in the FBI, believe it or not. They're in Homeland Security, yada, 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 yada. So the mafia or the offspring of the mafia, they never went anywhere, right? Oh, shoot. Shout out to Doug MPA. Shout out to Doug MPA with the $2 right here. He said, here's something for the baby oil fund. Yo, that's wild, man. That's wild.
We got money, nigga.
One more time.
We
Man.
got money, nigga.
Man. Let's do it one more time. I didn't even have the loop on.
We got money, nigga.
But like that whole baby oil thing, that's they put that out there they put that out there just for jokes and giggles in terms of to distract us. First of all, we already know Puffy's on the fruity side. So we already know that. So they only put that out there just so we can not really talk about why he's really in the trouble that he's in, right? So there's actually many facets in why Puffy is in the trouble that he's in, but that was the beginning of his downfall. Really, because when you're trying to battle with people in certain industries, there's certain people you can't touch, right? So especially when you're dealing with the spirits industry, right? these people you can't, I don't care where you think you come from, those things are mob owned. Those things are mob owned. They're not finna just they're not just gonna give it to you. So unfortunately Diddy fell victim to that. And on top of that, Diddy, once that box of worms came out, with Cassie and them and all that, then everything else started falling apart. And now the problem is the people that were connected to Diddy has dirt on them as a contingency plan. So Diddy knew in the past that, okay, all the stuff I'm doing, I need a contingency plan. So he made sure, which was evil, he made sure he had these freak offs or whatever, and he made sure he put cameras in these spots and whatever. Or so he had these things as blackmail so he can protect himself. So when the entertainers or the celebrities or the politicians or whoever it may be, when they saw that Diddy was in trouble, they knew that he had blackmail, or he had collateral. He had a quote unquote hostage, right? So they couldn't really touch him yet, right? Similar to Mr. J. Eastine, if I want to say his name correctly, right? So these people, they're already thinking 10, 20 steps ahead. So that was their collateral, so those are the reasons why Diddy is in trouble. That's the reason why Diddy, this was the beginning of Diddy's downfall, and that's where 50 Cent is trying to say. So hopefully, I don't know if you guys saw the last live stream I did when I had mentioned Diddy's intelligence, right? I said I respect Diddy's intellect, his IQ, his intelligence, his way of thinking, because I'm got like guys like that are just diabolical. You gotta really, if you're going into business with a guy like that, you really can't be going into business with a guy like Diddy, because not only is he evil, but he's smart. So you put all of that together, you have a diabolical genius, right? So when I said this, you had this one, I don't know if this was a broad or a gay man, when they basically in that live stream, they were like, "You're calling Diddy smart, so you're sympathizing with this? I'm unsubscribing." And I was like, bruh. Well, she didn't say I'm unsubscribing. She just said bye, right? And I was just like, or she said unfollow, something like that. And I was like, when I say I respect somebody's intelligence, does that mean I like them? Does that mean I agree with what I do? If I'm playing a sport, right? Let's bring this to basketball terms. If I'm struggling with a player that I know I can't guard, I'm going to ask for a double team. Why? Because I respect you. I respect that you're way better than me, and I know that I can't guard you. I'm going to need help. So I'm going to call for a double team because I respect your skill enough to ask for help, right? So it was really sad the other day I had to explain that. And I already knew that was either a black woman or a gay black man or a left-leaning black man. It had to be one of the three, because it was really sad that I had to explain that. But anyways, enough of Diddy. Enough of Diddy, because talking about him, it's a waste of time, because I've already talked about him 2 years ago. I already knew this was going to eventually happen to him. Like that, what he's going through right now is not a surprise to me, because I knew eventually ish was going to hit the fan. Okay. Speaking of which, man, speaking of which, let's open up something. Um, let's open up something for the tradcons, man. Because I have a lot of things that I want to show, pause. I want to show them. There's a lot of things that I can show them where it'll be hard together, man. It's really hard, particularly when you're talking about the right-leaning individuals, the tradcons. I'm not necessarily, and I'm not even not, and I don't even want to even go into when we talk about the far right. When you talk about um the white nationalists, right? The so-called base dudes, right? And all these people, because I can already shut that down, but this also affects them as well. Um, and when I bring up the traditional conservatives, I'm just talking about just the regular conservatives. But there's a lot of things that I can show them where they don't even understand the times have changed, right? And they don't understand the things that they're doing. They might think they're conservative, but they're not. You know what I mean? So let me give you an example right here. Let me see. Let me see. Let me bring up this clip because I found this a bit interesting. I think somebody, I don't know. I think Lorette sent me this clip of these people. I think she did, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't think she's I think she sent me this clip. So right here, you got these two Amish kids, right? I'm going to show you two Amish girls. And they're going to talk about how they grew up. So um just stay with me on this one. Stay with me on this one. And I want to I want to I just want to give them the floor to talk. Pause. I mean, just oh, that's what I meant to say. Fair use, fair use. I'm like, why did I say pause? Anyways, I've been watching way too much of of Cam and Mace on Instagram. They be having me laugh every time. Anyways, I'm gonna give them a space to talk.
Did not get a phone until I was 20. I would not have known how to handle a phone as a teenager. All the time that I was spending reading and learning and getting, like, I read so many books when I was a teenager. Imagine how much less I would have read if I had a phone.
Literally just thinking on my life, like as far as time management and phones and electronics, like you're just a lot better off as far as time management without a phone.
It's already difficult to navigate that. And imagine trying to do that as a 10-year-old or even a 15-year-old. I would never have been able to do it.
I'm definitely glad for how our parents did it.
I am so thankful.
Even though I'm always gonna like probably complain about it a little bit.
I'm still at the end of the day, like I'm glad.
So I'm not sure what this podcast specifically is. I just remember somebody sent me this clip a while back. I think Lorette. I would have sworn it was Lorette that gave me this clip, but here we go. This is the pod. These are the people. These are the. I guess this is her parents. I don't know if they're sisters. I don't know if they're friends, but I know a couple people like this. Not that they weren't necessarily Amish, but they grew up homeschooled. And so I know people like this where they grew up without. Hold on, where they grew up without a phone, right? Like, and they actually were very. They did very well socially. You know what I mean? There's this myth, right, where people think that, oh, if you don't have this or if you don't have this kind of technology, you won't be able to relate to the kids or to relate to your peers and all that stuff. But a lot of the times when I would meet people like this that grew up, without video games or without a computer, they were actually very well, like, socially. They actually did well socially, a lot better than you would think. And this is what I call when you see me attacking the so-called tradcons or whatever, because I actually know of real life examples of people that they might not say that they're quote unquote conservatives, but the way they grew, the way they raised their kids, you would have thought, you know what I mean? The way they dress, the way that they respect their parents, right? The way that they talk to their parents, right? The way they act, the way they do. I'm like, oh, these are some successfully raised kids. Like I've came across kids like that, and I'm like, these kids are gonna be so better than me in life. I used to be like, sheesh. Those are the kids I used to grow up around, or sorry, seeing from afar, or you know what I mean? And then when you are at these people's house, they got certain chores, they do certain things, they got their little Bible verses that they got to read and all this stuff. the so-called tradcons that I see today, right? Their 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 family life doesn't mirror what they preach, right? So let's take a look at their page, because I'm not because this is the first time I'm actually seeing their page, right? Let me see. Okay, so they're mixed. Let me see. Because I know people like this, like they grew up in an Amish family, or it's either or Amish family, or they just grew up in a traditionally conservative household, but they didn't say it was traditionally conservative. It was just they just were. Let me see.
The work you're doing, not just you, but the work you're doing, the work we're doing. If Mr. Trump knew what we were going to do in manufacturing, what we're trying to do in terms of.
So let's see. So I guess that's their dad. Could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about that, but I'm just assuming. So this is the full Amish family, a black Amish family. That's cool. But like I said, I think because the what happens is people are gonna see a family like this and they're just gonna think, oh, what are you gonna do if you grew up in a country and you don't have access to this kind of technology? What's gonna happen to the kids? The kids are usually fine. The kids are usually fine, right? Or you'll hear like the so-called traditional conservative women, right? You'll hear them say, oh, but I need this job to do this. I'm like, no, you don't. Why don't you homeschool your kids? Well, you guys want to complain about the public school system indoctrinating your kids. Why don't you homeschool your kids? But we need the extra. Not really. You can have just one parent, preferably the male, have him work or whatever, and give him the grace to get a certain type of job. And then you stay home and you homeschool the kids and you impart what you know what I'm saying, what you want to what you want to impute in the kids. And then on top of that, they actually have groups for kids like this that are homeschooled. You can actually join groups on Facebook or on WhatsApp or whatever, and they have groups and they have play dates for kids that are homeschooled, so they're just not isolated. You can still put them in sports. There's still a lot of things that you can do if you homeschool your kids. But particularly, I hear a lot of so-called tradcon women that make a lot of excuses on why they're working as well. And really the job that they're doing, they're actually sacrificing their kids' mental health to put them, because if you're gonna if you're gonna have two parents working like that, you better have your kid in a private high school or a private elementary school, or what I mean, in a private school of some sort. If you're gonna have if both of y'all are gonna work like dogs and then just have them at a public school system, in the suburb public schools are not safe anymore. So you know what I mean. So you can't even just rely on that. If you're gonna do that and then just have your kids in the public school system, you're doing your kids a disservice. So I always hear that excuse that, oh, what if my kids are not well socially adjusted? If you hear the way that she talks, hold on, right? And I'm pretty sure all these kids are very like socially. Trust me, like the ones that I see that were homeschooled or they grew up in a setting like the Amish. Trust me, they're not only are they socially adept, not only are they socially adept, they're so much smarter than the average kids. They're ahead of most kids. So by the time they hit a certain age, they're already like 2 or 3, 4, 5 grades ahead. You know what I mean? No, I'm talking about no, and the mom that's doing the homeschooling or the dad, right? It's not like they're scholar geniuses or whatever, but they're just imputing what they want into the kids so they can perform a certain way in life and they end up excelling. Trust me, I know way too many examples in real life of kids that were homeschooled and they're just far ahead of most people. And they're not like these social, yeah, I don't know how to talk to humans. They're not that. Trust me. They're not. And I hear particularly Republican and tradcon women, they be making excuses on why they can't stay home and homeschool. You know what I mean? Let me see. Shout out to Carlos X. He said only 50% of US adults can read at least on an 8th grade. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you sent me that. I'm pretty sure Carlos sent me that. That thing. Oh no. I posted it and then you replied like, "Yo, I got to save this to my story." Anyways, man. But yeah, I posted something like that. So right there, what Carlos X is saying, he said only 50% of US adults can read at least on an 8th grade level. So I showed like all the stats for it, where most likely if you're running across somebody that's misunderstanding a tweet that you sent or a social media post that you said, you're most likely dealing with an inarticulate, articulate, I don't know, or just a very uneducated person. You're dealing with somebody that probably can't even read. You know what I mean? So, like people be having disagreements with people online via, just typing words on a keyboard, and meanwhile you don't even realize the person that you're arguing with is uneducated, or they're just not, they don't have the comprehension, they don't have comprehension skills. I run into this basically all the time, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm talking about women particularly with like college degrees, and I'm like even just something simple as this, and a lot of men can attest to this. Like, say for example, you'll say, "I like waffles." You'll have women reply under you, "Oh, does that mean, what do you have against pancakes? You hate pancakes, do you?" And you're just like, what does pancakes have to do? I just said I like waffles. But this is the thing, like this is the comprehension skill, like the just the thinking skills. You know what I mean? And we constantly complain about, Gen Z, right, having no social skills and blah blah blah. I'm telling you, the kids that I know that have been homeschooled, that's not a problem for them. Like or the kids that I know that are Amish, or that just grew that did- or kids that just grew up a little bit different. They grew up on a farm, right? Or they grew up in a kind of they grew up in a different type of structure that's not normie structure, right? They're actually very well and socially adept. Even like I'll give this. How about the small hats, right? When the small hat kids, they're socially and educational wise, they're far ahead, and you wondering why they own everything. Because they have their own structure, they have their own schools, they have their own way of doing things, and you wondering why the small hats are ahead of all y'all. It's like the people that I see that are ahead of people when it comes to social. I'm talking about socially and financially, are the ones that were homeschooled, right? The ones that they went to a private education. So this is where the small hats come into the equation, and the rich people is the Amish, the homeschool kids, the small hats, and the rich people that put their kids in private, school type situations. Those are the ones that I see that be excelling. You know what I mean? So people just think, oh, if you're poor, quote unquote, oh, we can't. No. There's a way. Trust me, there's a way. There's a way. But most people, they don't want to do it. They don't want to sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like, particularly the tradcon moms, they especially when we're talking about, Caucasian tradcon moms, they don't want to put in the I'm not gonna say the work, but the reason why they're working, quote unquote, is not for their kids. You know what I mean? So that's that, so this is why, like, when I see something like this, I'm like, this should, something like this, kids like this should be celebrated, right? Here you have a whole family here, right? How many kids that is? How many? What's it? Two? You got one, two boys. Sorry, three boys, three girls, right? This is this is to me a traditional family, right? Sort of, right? I don't know if the parents are still together, but it looks like these kids were raised in a structure, right? Let me see. Okay, so this is the dad. So yeah, this is the dad, this is the mom, and this is the structure, that they were raised. I gotta stop saying it like that. The family structure. I gotta stop saying it like that. But it should this like a structure. You know what I mean? And for all I know, this is probably a let me see. But yeah, this is a structure. This is a structure. Healthy kids, they're away from they're probably not eating the same foods that we're eating. That's a whole other, side of this. But just because your family is raised in a structure like this, like that, like all that stuff, when particularly when tradcon women complain about the whole, oh well, who are they gonna meet and who are they gonna be friends with? They're not gonna go to prom, they're not gonna go to cotillion. They have stuff like that for homeschool kids and Amish kids. They have stuff for them like that. It's just you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. So yeah, shout out to these people. Hopefully I wish them success on their podcast journey, you know. Shout out. Oh yeah, watch this. So shout out to Carlos X. He says traditional families are the rebels of our day. Exactly. So now it's not even just that. I will say just a normal family where it's just mom, dad. I'm talking about, how about this? I remember Corey Holcomb said something very profound on his show. He said something very profound. I think I don't know if it was on the show or on somebody else's podcast, but Zoe was there. Zoe Williams was there. He said in the black family, he said he said for black people, he said if you see a black man, black woman, and they have kids, and all of the kids are a product of that union. No step. We're not talking about no step families and all that. He said, if you see a black man, black woman, and all the kids by them, and you see them outside happy together, he said that is worth you stopping what you're doing, and you need to follow them to see how their life is. I was like, what? At first, I was like, what? But like I said, Corey Holcomb will say these things, and he doesn't even have the stats or the numbers behind it. But you do know, like, if you are a black person and you grew up with a mom, dad in the house, married, and I'm talking about you grew up with them, that automatically puts you in the in like the 10% of like black people in terms of family making. That automatically puts you at the top 10, even 5%, because you got to even factor in divorce and all that. So that automatically puts you at the top 5 to 10% of black families, or just black people in general when it comes to families. So the man, so when he said that at the time, I remember hearing that, but I didn't have like the stats, and I was like, that sounds crazy. But then once you have other people break down the stats behind, black families, whatever, and blah blah blah, you're like, oh shoot, he was right. If you're black and you see a black mom, black man, black kids, that's worth stopping what you're doing and following them to see if this is legit, because it's actually very rare, but that's just you know, statistically, that's what it is. But anyways, man, man, that's what it is. I gotta check out this podcast. I don't know if they got any more stuff. If they have any more videos. Oh, let's see this one.
What is the struggle? Well, let's go all the way back. We are these people. It has produced it.
Nah, not this. This is them with probably like their uncle or something. They're probably on the pro blickety black stuff. Let me see. Oh, let me see this. This is them talking about the Bible and stuff. All right, let's give this a try.
Language is everything. I can't even.
It's everything. Think about trigger words and think about how polarizing they are. Like as soon as you say certain words, like the way that they have been defined does not allow people to hear you anymore.
Right. You can have people totally canceled. You can have friends forever separated. You can have people cutting other people off because of words that came out of them. That's the power of language. Anybody that's like really thinking in depth about control realizes how important language is.
And you give it the rain, you talk about Nimrod and how he built the Tower of Babel and how he confused the languages and how that was a way for division to happen. The Lord said their language is one. So when people have a same understanding, that's how unity happens. And when people don't have a same understanding, that's how unity or that's how division happens.
Language is everything. I can't even.
It's everything. Think about trigger words and think about how polarizing.
Interesting. They already sound better than a lot of pastors I know. And by the way, remember what they said. They didn't get a phone until they was 20. They didn't get their first phone until they was 20. So you know, there's a lot of things that particularly tradcon women will push their husbands or the man of the house, whatever, we need to buy this, we need to buy that, we need to why do you really want the kids to have that per se? That's a whole other, like I said, that's a whole other discussion for another time. Oh, let me show you these I got these two separate clips to show you of the same woman. I just got to bring it up. I'm gonna have to bring it up. I got to bring this up. Here we go. Let's bring this up. So shout out to this sister right here. So this is going to be, like I said, she's going to be talking about, she's basically going to be repeating what I've been saying for the past 2 years on my channel, right? She's going to address the hypocrisy of women, just in general, particularly when it comes to baby deletion, right? So let's press play.
So it's okay for women to get abortions, but it's not okay for a man to walk away. It's okay for women to murder a baby, but it's not okay for a man to remove himself from a situation that he no longer sees fit. It's okay for women to trap a man with a baby because he's rich and wealthy, but it's not okay for a man to walk away. I honestly don't understand women's one-sided perspective. Y'all are behaving like the man forced you to have intercourse with him. He forced you to have that baby. Even though this man has been showing you with actions that he did not want to be a father, and you chose to still go through with it because you know you got the court system to push him to be a father, right? Women are the issue. Y'all are the same women that is raising these weak, immature young boys to be thugs, to die in the street because y'all lack self-accountability, which you raise a man with lack of self-accountability, which leads to a man impregnating a woman and not taking care of it because his mother didn't teach him how to have any morals or values. I said it. So it's okay for women to get abortions.
Now, when I said the same thing, you know, hold on, let me highlight this comment that Carlos X said. Speaking on the Amish kids, he said they talk like reasonable adults. My mind, you know, but the thing is, you know, I forgot who said it. He said, oh yeah, Aaron Clary. He said, in the future, your sanity is gonna be the new wealth of the future. Your sanity will your sanity you being a clear-minded individual, that will be the new source of wealth in the future. Because we see what college is doing to we see what college is doing to a lot of these folks out here. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy what it's doing. But anyways, back to this lady right here. Now, what she said, I don't even consider it like a radical thing that she's saying, because it just makes sense. I've actually talked to like the biggest feminists, and I've actually said, like, well, wouldn't it make sense? Okay, if you want to keep baby deletion, fine, but why is it that you're able to delete your kids, but the man is forced to pay the child support if he doesn't want it? So I'm like, so where I always gave the case, okay, you talk about having no reproduction rights. That's just false. Men have no reproduction rights, because even if the kid is not his, there's no laws that protects him from paternity fraud. Paternity fraud is not even a crime. So you can have a man in a situation where his woman gets pregnant, right? Or the girl that he's messing with gets pregnant. He could ask her, hey, I don't think we're ready for this. We want abortion. Sorry, a baby deletion. She could say no. And meanwhile, that probably is not even his kid at all. So where is his choice in the matter? Where's his choice? And especially now, most women are going to have gaslit men into not asking for a DNA test, to where now the new technique that I've been seeing on like the message boards and on the social media, where they'll just say like, oh yeah, if my man asks for a paternity test, I'm asking for a divorce right after. And it's like, what? So it just showed like men don't even have the rights that the rights that women think they don't have is something that men have. Like they don't men don't even have they don't even have it. They don't even have it. We don't even have the choice to be like, okay, since you want to keep it, I shouldn't be liable for the child support that comes with it. Since you want to keep it, shouldn't a man have a say in it? Because like I said, they're so quick to say it takes two to tango. They're so quick to say that, but he has no rights. He has no say over whether the woman wants to give birth to his kid, if he wants the kid there, if he wants to pay for it. You know, this is just logical sense, where I've actually been able to talk to certain feminists, and maybe it's because I'm black. So that's another that's probably another factor to it. I'm not gonna rule that out, but I've been able to even the staunchest of feminists, where I'll be like, well, this is this and this is the logic behind this, and they've actually agreed, where if a man shouldn't, I've had feminists agree with me where they're like, well, that actually makes sense. you know, I've actually had feminists where I'm like, well, it should be mandatory DNA testing if all of this is stacked against the man on that end. You might not think so, but look at where he has no choices. I'm like, the least you can do is give him where he doesn't have to ask the woman for a paternity test, because we already know if he asks, for some weird reason, women, they get offended. Even though if you have I believe if you have nothing to hide, a DNA test should be, it should be, it's not even supposed to be something to get offended by. It should just be understandable, because I know plenty of women that they get it. They get it. So I've talked to the staunchest of feminists, and they actually agree with this. So, but what the thing is, when you're dealing with the average American woman, these are the worst type of people to be around, because they're convenient. Because it's not a matter of just being convenient feminists. They don't want equality. They want retribution. They want to, quote unquote, they want payback, right? So they just want men to suffer. They don't want men to have a say, because they believe equality is them fighting fire with quote unquote fire that we allegedly put on them. That's their goal. So what she's saying, it makes sense. And she was probably the type of woman back in the day that was probably pro woman and all that, until she realized women they're not looking for equality. They're looking for retribution. You know what I mean? So this just makes sense. The problem is when men say this, we're just looked at as bad guys when we say exactly what she just said here. Pyro said, "This is what Chris. This is why I choose the bear." Oh yeah, and that's another thing with the ladies, with that whole bear thing. I can't believe I have to say this, but ladies, just stop it with that. Only the reason why I say that, because when I hear women say I rather choose the bear and then them do like essay pieces on this, why I rather choose the bear over the man, I know, like, because I already know women say stupid stuff like this, right? And when they feel like they're making a point, they'll say something like this, or they'll just be like, "Well, you'd love me if I was a worm." It's like just stuff that doesn't matter, right? Now, most men that are, I'll say men that are socially adept understand when women say I choose the bear, you're dealing with a woman. She's just gonna say that. But the men growing up now, ironically, you know how like the new age women, they swear that they're autistic. The actuality is the new young men growing up now, they're the autistic ones, not the women. The men are the autistic ones. So the more that you tell the average man, I rather choose the bear, or I rather this, and I don't need you, they're going to take it literally. Men are going to take it literally. Now, I already know not to take that literally. I just know it's just women just being women. But they don't understand these new men coming up, or even men in my generation, they're the autistic ones, not the women. Men are. So whatever you tell the men to do, they're going to take it literally. They're going to take it like, oh, she really rather choose the bear over me. No, they're just trying to get under your skin. The problem is women are so used to just talking with no consequences, or just talking crazy without no consequences. So they'll say, I'll choose the bear, but if something bad happens, they still expect you to protect them when something crazy happens to them. Or if an actual bear happens, they're gonna run to a man. that's like that same broad. But the men of today, they're the autistic ones. So the more that you tell them, I don't need you, I don't need this, and blah, blah, they're going to take it literally. This is why you have men dropping out of workforces. That's why you have men not taking school seriously. That's why they want nothing to do with college, because they don't want to be around women that are saying these things about them, right? They like, if 50 Cent had this perfect quote where he was like, have you ever just been around somebody that just give you all the indications that they want nothing to do with you? Eventually you're just going to be like, let me just move away from this this person. So the only people that are now actually trying to how do I say this, save women, quote unquote, are the tradcons. They're the only ones that are actually trying to, quote unquote, save them, right? Those are the last of the ones that are trying to, you know what? And you have women crap on their name or act like these people are the devils, and they don't even realize if it wasn't for the tradcons, they would be getting like no help. This is why I always say the tradcons are actually messing up the game, because if the tradcons actually fell in line with the quote unquote, incels or whatever, the people that they like to diss, I think then the ladies that they complain about, they would actually have to, quote unquote, change. They would have to actually do something, right? But yeah, that's part of it. Carlos X said paternity test should be required before the name of the father goes on the birth certificate. You know, that's I've explained this logically, and plenty of women actually agree with me on this. But what's interesting is when it comes to the subject of paternity tests, a lot of quote unquote religious women, they be disagreeing with me. And particularly Christian women, and I'll be shocked. I'll be like, wow, like I'm like, you do know it's not just a matter of just paternity. Like you do know, like it's switched at hospitals, right? And like there's a lot of cases where you'll have the dad, they'll do the paternity test, like 10 years later, then they find out that both the dad and the mom are not, you know, blood related. You are the actual parents, and then they find out that way. So I think I remember explaining that to I remember somebody explaining that to another woman, and she'll be like, "Oh, I understand, I get it." So okay, so but even I'm talking about, even if you put it in that lens, I'm talking about the tradcon woman still won't accept that paternity testing. But like I said, it just shows you what it is. All you got to do is, if you really want to test this theory, just go out one day to your family or any of the members of your family and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do we're gonna do ancestry.com. I'm gonna need your spit swabs for ancestry.com. I want to do or just be like, I want to do a family tree project." And it's gonna tell you all you need to know about your peoples, your families. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? Let me see. Carlos X said, before that, hospitals staff get to choose between Tyrone, Chad, or Enrique. Doug MPA say, drop a link. I probably won't for this one, only because I'm trying to be out at 10, because I do have things right after. Oh yeah, I said it in the beginning. I said that in the beginning, but there was only like 2 people in the chat then. In this particular one, I might. It depends. It depends. Let me see. Drop a link to join the convo. I might. But it depends what part of the conversation I am. But you see, let me see. 8:53. Because I'm really trying to get. I got to get out of here at 10. In terms of what I got to do in preparation for tomorrow. I've been not keeping track of time well. Oh yeah, time management. My time management skills for the past 2 days have been off due to unforeseen circumstances. So I just got to do some things. But I did promise this show I do gotta post that. Let me see. Here we go. She only cares if it's not her kid. Let me see. What did Pyro say? She only cares if it's not her kid. Not so much she wants to benefits. Yeah. Oh, Pyro saying she only cares if it's not her kid. You though, not so much. She wants to benefit. Yeah. So it is what it is on that end. Oh, I have another clip of her, if I'm not mistaken. So she got backlash. So the woman that you're seeing on the screen, she did get backlash for what she said. She did get backlash for what she said. Let me just bring that up. If I have time, I might post a link at the end. I might post it, but it's gonna be at like the end that I might do that. But let me see if I can bring this up. So she did get she got backlash via Instagram or TikTok, but Instagram on what she said. But everything that she said it just makes logical sense. I don't even think you have to be on a side. It makes logical sense what she said. But she was obviously gonna get pushback for what she said. So let's hear her response to the pushback.
So as of now, y'all might know that this video is going very viral. And of course, it is the weak Black woman that got an issue with what I got to say. But let me say this. I want to know, what do the Black women have to say about a gay couple that is requiring child support from another person when they did not give natural birth to that child? I really want to understand that. I don't understand weak Black women coming in my comment section showing me the fact that you are an immature, uneducated, unloving Black woman. Everything that is coming out y'all's mouth about men and child support is about financial gain, and it has nothing to do with your children's mental, emotional, or spiritual health. It is about money. Most Black women do not like their children. Most Black women are very dependent on a man, but they want to claim independent when they're not. They're dependent. I generally find it mind-blowing as these women walk around America. Y'all want to tell men, oh, you can't tell me that I can't have an abortion, but you're telling these men that they're responsible for getting you pregnant. So why are you telling them that they can't tell you to have an abortion or not? Why? You're a dependent. You can only take care of your child if the man is there. You can only fully support the child if the man is there. So the man should be able to tell you to get rid of the baby or not. The man should control your body, because based off what you're saying, the man is fully responsible for your body. And this is exactly why there are so many weak Black men in America, because they was raised by weak Black women like y'all with no morals or no values. So as of now, y'all might know that this video is going very...
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure they were probably calling her pick me's and all that. Oh man. Yeah, she's dropping bombs, man. She's dropping truth bombs. I mean, you can't even everything she said is facts. But let me see, because maybe you probably still there's probably still comments in here. Oh, here we go. They said this woman was traumatized. They're saying she need therapy. You see? Oh man. They said all the women in the comments saying she needs therapy, not speaking on the issues this woman throws in y'all face because they're the problem. But like I said, if you say something and then the first thing that they say is you're hateful and you need therapy and you're traumatized and you she basically just gave the solution. She addressed the problem. She addressed basically, if you don't like, she addressed what the main problem is, but still people don't want to touch it. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. That's why, particularly, and I'm not trying to diss Kevin Samuels or other creators or other pro-blacks that I grew up watching, but if you're not addressing this problem like this, right, the way that she's saying it right now, or if you're not identifying that this is the main problem in the community per se, then we're wasting breath. We're wasting words. This is why, this is one of the main reasons why we're here. Like, I'm talking about even white people know this is the problem, like that we had, like in our community. Even white people know that. So, but nobody really wants to address this issue that we have, particularly when we talk about the family court system, right? And the family dividing tactics that have been thrusted, particularly in the Black community, where it's so ingrained to where, like, now if the average broad from a community, right, from a certain community, in her mind, if you're not paying child support, then you're not doing your like job. I'm talking about you could have full custody of your kids as a man, and she'll be talking about child support. You'll just be like, what are you talking about? My kids are with me. But that's how ingrained that's how, like, that mentality is so ingrained. It's so, I don't even think it's really something you can fix. It's just something that you gotta, if you have a daughter, and then you just have to hope that they're just not raised by a woman that thinks like this, or a gay man that that subscribes to that kind of mentality. You know, that's and you just have to just hope by luck that you find a woman that are not married to the system, you know, zaddy government, like we like to say it in the in the black community, zaddy government, right? Somebody that's not relying on zaddy government to be the voice of the family or the kids that you have that they kept. Anyways. But wow, I didn't know there was so much backlash in this comment section. Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. But this whole thing about this child support stuff, man, and it's you know what I mean, is crazy. Where you have, like, remember you had that clip of Erica Mena, she's crying because she thought her child support was a certain way, or you remember Brittany Renner, and I'm pretty sure Brittany Renner grew up in the suburbs, but her breaking down crying when she realized the child support from PJ Washington was going to be only $2,500 a month because the kid was born in North Carolina, right? And then her having a whole breakdown the next day. Like, they really look at child support as income. And then when you call them out on it, they talk about, you don't care about the kids. I'm like, do you hear yourself? You guys were about to cry for over child support, and that money's not even going to the kid. But then when we say, when we say this money's not going to the kid, we're bad for saying that. And like, it's so much so when you're talking about child support in general, right? You'll talk to these people, and they will justify, oh, the child support needs to be this because I need this for gas, I need this for rent, I'm like, this is where your job comes in. You guys, the man and the woman, if y'all not together no more, he's not responsible for that. But it's for the kid. No, that's where your job comes in. If the dad can't afford the gas, rent, or blah blah blah, he can't ask the woman for that. If he does, they call him a loser. You know what I mean? So that's just it's just logical. It's just logical, and and this is what happens when you leave these groups, because I can tell this woman was probably like very pro woman and very this, but what she realized what these people were, it's like, wow, you know. You know, you never know, because you know, you know, or you'll have people, I'll say it like this. You know how people will say, oh, you know, the manosphere is dying and all this stuff. Have you seen these videos? They always do this every year, right? AJ likes to talk about this. They do this every year. Oh, the manosphere is dying and blah blah. I'm like, and I always say this because I laugh, because I'm like, if you're saying the manosphere died, what do you mean? But why? Because you don't see Andrew Tate viral anymore? Is that your idea of the manosphere? Andrew Tate, fresh and fit, right? I always ask the normie, so what's your idea of the RP, or who do you think, what do you think the manosphere is? And they're always going to talk about Andrew Tate and or like Just Pearly, one of these people. So in their mind, because of those people, and because they're demonetized and whatever, and they've been paraded as the you know, those grifters have been paraded as the quote unquote savior of men and blah blah blah. So because they're demonetized, and since they're going away, basically, and Fresh and Fit and Myra and these people are going away, they think the manosphere is going to die. And I was just like, oh, so you have no idea what the manosphere, or you don't even have no idea what the red pill, the RP, you have no idea what this space is. You have no idea why people are even here. If you think that's like, I'm talking about, like, I was seeing like TikToks recently where they're saying that the manosphere is dying, and they're talking about Kevin Samuels and Andrew and I'm like, bro, I always say it like this. All of our channels can get deleted. Say if the diverting hate campaign, it works. it takes away all of our channels. Everybody stops making this content. At the end of the day, as long as the family court system is still there, as long as the straggles keep doing what straggles do, as long as the divorce thing is still there, there's always going to be a manosphere somewhere. It's going to be, or a RP space somewhere. It's always going to be there because women are going to be women and men are going to have questions. They really like, I but that's just my opinion. And then when I say it like that, they just, oh, you have a very nihilistic, or you have a very narrow-minded view. I'm like, and I always say this: women are going to be women, bro. And it's like there's no, and it's a bit of an emotional statement, you could say, but there's no comeback for that because I'm like, y'all know, y'all know how y'all are. Y'all know the stuff y'all do. We know the stuff men do. This is why we know there's certain female spaces that are going to exist, or there's certain. This is why we have programs for women that are in certain situations, because we already know what men are going to do. So with that same logic, we also know what women are going to do. So that space is never really going to go away, even if they take away all of our channels. That's just that's just the logic behind it. That's just the logic. Oh yeah, Pyro, the Pygmisha. And I will say this: I believe, and I'm sorry if any black women are hearing this and they get mad, but I think black women should be kind of barred from saying Pygmisha, because remember that story I covered about, it was black women complaining about them not being picked on dating apps. So they do certain stuff with their search settings so they can be picked. So I'm like, you literally have BWs complaining about not being picked. And then those same people calling other women pygmies. Like, I'm like, don't you guys see that is, as we talk about peak irony. I mean, it don't get no higher than that when it comes to peak, or lower than that, right? It doesn't get no bigger than that when it comes to peak irony. Particularly because though that's the term that I see a lot of BWs use when it comes to women talking about men's issues, right? Or certain stuff like this. They call them pick-me's, but then they complain about not being picked by Zaddy, right? On dating apps. So I think they kind of should be barred from calling other women pick-me's, because after I did that story where you have black women like complaining about not being picked on a dating app, or them not being picked to be like models or stuff, I'm like, well, you call other women pick-me's, but like your whole, never mind. Anyways, I believe your life should reflect, you know what I mean, like what you say. So you like, that's why you don't see me going crazy or going ham on like feminists from like Sweden or Norway or these spots, because even though these people are terrorists as well, but at least with them, they understand, okay, if I'm asking for more money as a woman, or more money like for this, they kind of understand with that comes with, I gotta pay bills. You know what I mean when I say that? So, or they understand, oh, I gotta pay for a meal once in a while or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so there's some of those feminists might actually be looking for equality, and they'll actually show that through their actions, which I can't really damn them for that, I guess, even though I'm against the whole movement in general. But women here in this country, what happens is they'll talk about independence and this and whatnot, and instead of proving it, they'll be everything but independent, but still raking you over raking an innocent man over the coals for his resources and calling herself independent, which is just or being completely dependent on the government to step in and fill in the blanks, which makes you actually complete dependence and definitely not independent. You know what I mean? Carlos X said, "Who hurt her? Who hurt her? She's hurt. She's bitter and hurt." Pyro says, as I said, the Black community deserves to be what it is at right now. Only they can fix this to make better changes. But they depends way too much on Zaddy government. And I actually think that it could have been fixed, but I think it's too late. You know what I mean? It would take like drastic measures to fix us. It would take drastic, like very drastic measures. Let me see. I saw something here. There we go. 25% marriage rate for BWs per via Kevin Samuels, unless that's changed since. But yeah, it's a 25% married. 25%. Or I think the percentage is actually smaller than that, if I'm not mistaken. 25%, because what happens is, yeah, like because remember, within that 25% marriage statistic, you'll have a dude marrying a single mom, right? Or you'll have a man with kids marrying a woman with no kids. So imagine the real statistic of, okay, Black man with no kids, women with no kids, they come together, and then all of the kids they create is within the marriage. What's the percentage of that? That's got to be like a very small percentage. You know what I mean? When like that now that percentage, now that's probably like very small, like very, 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 very small. Because remember, yeah, within that 25% marriage, you have a lot of dudes marrying single moms. So we probably should. So the actual real percentage of man with no kids, women with no kids, they come together and they make something. The real percentage behind that is probably so small. It's probably like 10 to 15%. You know what I mean? And then let's not even take into effect if they're gonna even stay together. You know what I mean? So that percentage is very, 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 very small. Very small. Okay, so let me see. Let me make sure I'm good on time. But anyway, yeah, shout out to the sister right here. I don't know what her page is called. I don't know. Maybe this is her page. Is it? No, that's something else. This is something else. But I guess her page is called Clone Talks Podcast. I don't know. Well, that's probably not her page. But anyway, shout out to her. Hopefully she does well. But I like the points that she's going in on, and I'll say this, because at the end of the day, she could just be a chameleon. But I want to give, this is what I want to do before I move on. Let me give somebody their props. There is a woman online that's actually putting in work that I've been noticing for the past year now. And I've been watching her, and she's been doing good work. Let me see if I can bring her up. Her name is Daphne, if I'm not mistaken. Daphne on Twitter. Her name is Daphne. And I guess her name is the Queen of Accountability, whatever. And I think and people might find that corny, and I get it, but she's putting in like work, like meaning, remember the brick lady? So yeah, this is Daphne. So remember the brick lady? She was the one putting the pressure on the police department to make sure they put a case on her. Like she be actually like like women will put like false stuff on Facebook, and she'll be calling like the cops on them, like for real, like in like the women that make false allegations. But she deals particularly with the Black community. She sticks with particularly like defending Black men in general, and guys, and here's the kicker: like she's married, she has a husband, she has a structure, so she's not trying to do this for, oh, I'm trying to get picked. She's already been picked, so she's doing this because that's what she wants to do. She wants to she just wants things to be fair. So I actually want to give her a shout out. Like, if you actually do the research on her, like she's actually putting in like work. Like she's actually putting in work. Like she's putting like boots on the ground. Like she's getting like 304s arrested for false allegation. Like for real. Like she's worth a follow. She's worth a follow on Twitter because she's actually putting in work. You know what I mean? But I remember, specifically with the brick lady, like the brick lady, she wouldn't even have been arrested if it wasn't for her, because they were having problems like putting a case on her, but she was putting a lot of pressure and making sure that the brick lady woman got arrested. So shout out to her. She's been like she puts in work, like actual work, and she's married, so she's not. It's not like, oh, she's not doing this for like male attention or valid. Like she's already married. You know what I mean? So she's been putting in good work, because I've been paying attention for about a year now. Let me see. Oh yeah, Carlos X, he was probably like, damn, because of the statistics. Yeah, the statistics that but if you really think about what the real statistics are, it's probably not even. Pyro says, Chris, you noticed women are saying men who don't have kids are red flags because let me see. Chris, you noticed women are saying men who don't have kids are red flags, men are sexually responsible. But yeah, but obviously women think that way. That's just how they think. You know what I mean? This is why it's like you only have like a small percentage of men that have like all the kids, particularly in certain communities. That's just how they think. In their mind, if you're like 30 and you don't have kids, they just look at you as not a, like having kids is a form of social proof, right? So, people always ask me, oh, what works? Money, game, all this. I always say, look, social proof, in my opinion, trumps even money. That's my, like, even I'm not saying money is not the most important, and I will never argue with somebody that say money is the most important. I will never argue that, but I'm just telling you, when it comes to social proof, there are forms of social proof, different forms of social proof that a man can have or attain or possess, and I believe social proof, it even trumps money. Like, there's a reason why you'll have these NBA athletes' kids. They can be anything they want in life. Their parents have all the money to put them in any type of social activity, or they can be neurobiologists, scientists, rocket scientists, but they all end up wanting to be in the NBA just like their dad, or the NFL just like their dad. Not because they necessarily want to copy their dad, but the social proof that comes with being an NBA, NFL, MLB, blase, and so on. Even in Europe, when it comes to soccer, a lot of those people that you see, their fathers were former professional soccer players, and their fathers or their families made a good living off that, and they could have chose to be anything they wanted to be, but they could have chosen to be anything that they wanted to be, but they end up doing that. They end up joining the NFL, even though like the NFL, like what the toll it does to your body, or just what being an athlete, the toll it does to your body. You know what I mean? And they still choose that because the social proof that comes with that, with being a famous athlete, the social proof that comes with that is undeniable. You see why we got all these people. They don't want to be science doctors. They want to be streamers. They want to be YouTube personalities. Why is that? Because of the social proof that comes with it in the dating marketplace. Simple. Particularly when you're talking about men, what they want to be. The social proof that comes with it. Especially if you're not a Chad, if you're not a Tyrone, quote unquote, then you're going to definitely aim for these spots so you can get the social proof of a quote unquote. You know what I mean? This is what it is, man. But yeah, if you guys can follow Celebrity on Twitter, I like what she has to say. Most times I like what she has to say. Most times, not every time, but most times. And she's actually putting feet on the ground, like putting in that boot work. You know what they like to call it in the PUA space, infields. I'm in the infield, but she's actually putting in work and making sure, particularly black men see justice, and when they're being done wrong by other of their female counterparts. So I want to give her a special shout out, because we like to talk about, most of them are chameleons. I will say she's probably, out of all of them, she's probably the less likely to be a chameleon, only because the kind of work that she's putting in. Even the chameleons, the chameleons, they just want to stay online and just, monetize off of, men's pain and collect super chats and all that. Like her, she's actually she's doing real work, like in real life. You know what I mean? So I got to give her props and credit. And she's married. You know what I mean? Now let's get into the tradcon side of things real quick, okay? So here, I'm going to show you something that a so-called Christian woman said, right? This is part of the trad. This is now part of when I'm talking about the tradcons right here. And this is why, when you have tradcons, trying to force the marriage stuff on dudes that are not ready yet, or if they're hesitant on it, they're just telling them, no, you just got to get married, just do it. But they don't, the consequences are just too dire, So right here, I'm gonna show you this woman right here. This is a Christian woman that you're gonna hear. This is a Christian woman, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, that's just a black Christian woman." So black women be making up the rules. Trust me, this is for all races, man. Right here. It just always happens. It just always hits. It just hits ninjas first, the hardest. You know what I mean? It just hits us the hardest. So this is where tradcons, you need to pay attention to this. You need to pay attention to the nonsense. This is a Christian woman, and you're going to see the caption right here. This is a Christian woman. It says, after 15 years, God said, that is not your husband. She's going to say this at the end. She's going to justify her divorce after 15 years with a man that she was married with.
Together for 15 years. We were married for 7. It was a beautiful thing, and we still had the normal ups and downs. But I will say we didn't have a relationship where we argued all the time. Yeah. We didn't have a relationship where we were dealing with infidelity or stuff like that. During those times, we didn't have that type of relationship. So, because we were friends first. Yeah. So it was always like, that's my homie. It was just something in me as a woman. I cannot explain it, to where it was like I was battling myself. You feel like I'm trying to do the right thing, but it's something that's pulling me away from doing this. But why would it pull me away from my husband? I'm battling in the midst of that with religion, like what the people telling me at church and what I'm getting spiritual advice from, and then I'm battling with it with myself. Like, why am I feeling this way? I'm talking about I'm going to therapy for myself to figure out why am I feeling this way towards my husband. And the way I was feeling, it wasn't like I felt resentment towards him. It was almost like I was withholding a piece of me that I couldn't give him. I'm sitting on the couch and we had a small issue, and that small issue was back that pattern. Now, you done went to therapy for this. We done had talks for this. I done talked to you. What did you get from this after I said it? To make sure you understand, because I love to communicate. And I'm sitting on the couch, y'all, and I kid you not, God told me, that is not your husband.
Wow. Yo. And you wonder why, and they're wondering why men are afraid of marriage, right? Especially today. So, first of all, she's sitting there lying on Sky Daddy's name. Hopefully people don't get offended when I say that, though, when I say Sky Daddy. But I'm just, when I say whatever entity that you worship, whatever you stand on, she's trying to use her religion to justify her breaking a covenant that she made in front of her family and her so-called God. Now, the reason why I say her so-called God is because I don't like what people don't understand. You know, the church has completely pandered to women like this for so long. Movies, Christian, particularly Black Christian movies that pander to people like this for so long. She doesn't even realize how crazy she sounds right here. You're better off not, I always say this, in today's age, you're actually better off if you're gonna actually find a girl. You might have a better chance of it working out if she's not from church or she's not in the church. You know what I mean? You know what I mean when I say that. Like, you're actually better off if you actually find a girl that she's not, if she's not from the church or she's not in a church, because you have a congregation full of bird brained individuals like this.
We were together.
So I'm going to do a video on this later on. I will do a video on this later on, but notice the husband did nothing wrong. She said he did nothing wrong. Notice she said that, oh, they would never fight, they would never do this and blah blah blah, but in her mind something was missing, and she's using, technically, you know what they say in one of the commandments is, say don't use God's name in vain, but wouldn't this qualify as using God's name in vain if you're lying? if you're lying and putting his name in it? Like, I'm not even religious, but I know that. To say after 15 years God said that is not your husband, how are you, what? No, you're a schizophrenic. Stop using God's name in vain. The streets came calling and you were bored. Let's keep it a buck. Now, I hope that you didn't file for no child support or sorry, I hope you didn't ask for alimony after leaving. That's the thing here, because for me, it's not you necessarily leaving. I just know when women leave, it's not just, okay, I'm gonna leave and then that's it, you can move on with your life. No, they usually they're gonna ask for alimony, they're gonna ask for child support if kids are involved. You know what I mean? So I really hope this was a situation where, like, I hope there's no kids involved in this situation. But usually in situations like this, kids are involved. So this is the scary part. This is why men are like, I'm not I'm not touching this. Oh yeah, and by the way, men, stop wifing up women with chest tattoos and all this stuff. Women that are telling you don't worry about my past. Can y'all stop doing that? Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Because I can look at her and the way she's talking, I could tell she has a past. And I could tell just by her, just looking at her, she just wants to be in the streets again. And she is just that's what she wants. And you could tell the streets came calling because she said she was together for the man with 15 years, but married for 7. So she couldn't even wait to the 10-year mark, or she could have barely wait out of that 7-year itch. As soon as that 7-year itch hit, she was out. You know what I mean? So that's like, so she just wanted to be back in the streets. Like the streets were calling. Let's keep it a buck. The streets were calling, and she just wants to. God told me to tell you. Oh man. That's it, man. That's it. Let me see. Undead said, oh man. I wish I could join that stream, but I'm on such a time limit, man. Damn. Let me see. Undead said, join my stream. Let's talk. Let's talk what? Let's talk. I don't know if you mean let's talk BS. Hold on. Because I'm a bit autistic myself. I'm not even gonna lie. Let me see. I think undead means BS. Let's talk BS. Let's talk BS. I'll say this. Let me say I'll give you the link to join my stream. Would it be able to keep the stream, like if I join the link, would my stream here still, it would still go on, right? Because I don't know how this works. Oh, give me a wrench. Let's see. Let me see. Because I don't know how to do that. But let me. Oh yeah, I can do it. Let me. I can give him. I just got to go on my YouTube. But yeah. Oh yeah. Send me. I'll. Let me see. I'll give me a wrench. I'll give you the wrench. Let me just see. Let me see this real quick. Let me see. Pin message reward channel. I gotta learn how to get more technical with this stuff. Holy crap. Let's see here. Because I'm seeing his thing. I'm on my live stream. Oh, I know how to I know how to do the moderator thing. Okay, here we go. Community moderation. Participant. Let's see some. Then let me see if I can join the stream. I think if you drop the link, I think I could do it. I don't know, but hold on. Let me drop my copy link real quick. Let me drop the link on here. My link. Let me just drop my link just in case. I'm trying to see how this works. See, get on my stream. Oh, let me hold on. Let me bring up YouTube. And let me click on. How do we do this? Here we go. Okay, so I think I am in. Let me see. Continue. Let's cruise mic. Let me shut off my camera. Here we go. I think we're doing this. I think we're doing this. I think we're doing this. Hope I'm doing this right. Man, what's up, guys? Man, I put my thing on pause. I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta pause the stream. No, I didn't hit share this tab instead. I didn't know if that was okay or not. So, oh, for
Man, because you have people that want to listen to you that are fans of you more than me. And when I get these young brooders on the stream, or young in terms of YouTube content production, it's not like, oh, I'm helping you out all the time, but I like what you say. I like your ideas, and I want to contribute to the growth of your channel. And so this is more like a YouTube collaboration. I don't really see it as I'm in charge. Talk to me. This isn't a I don't even remember the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio as the the man, whatever it is. But I saw you do the stream. You titled it "Tradcon Artists Like Charlie Kirk Aren't Helping." I'm like, damn, that's a great idea. Conversation. You obviously made the stream title to share some opinions. So I like the idea of co-streaming. Like, I'm shooting to my fans, this war band, this 500 whatever people listening. You're shooting to your fans, but I'm like, please, why do you title that stream? What's going on, man?
he's taking too many L's. He's just making the tradcons look bad. Tradcons are, in my opinion, I don't know who's worse, the tradcons, the PUAs. They're worse to me than the incels or who do we want to call these people? The black pill people, right?
Mm.
They're the people that bring this down. So I keep seeing this format, and it's killing me, where these people go on these college campuses arguing with 18-year-old, 19-year-old chicks.
You see that blonde girl pull down her bra?
Yes.
I mean, look, maybe I'm just so out of pocket, but if I was doing a college thing and some girl like that was pulling on her bra, I'm like, do you want to continue this conversation in my hotel room?
I mean,
because your side would win. Your side would win if they had video clip of me and you walking to my hotel room. They would win. Do you want a political win? Because I'll trade a political win for some 19-year-old blonde puniti. I don't care. Like, because my political win is proving that you're a whore. Really, that's us. Charlie Kirk is more like, we need morals in America. We need men to get married. And as he's pushing that, you got this young white Aryan woman that basically what Republican men worship, a white girl with blonde hair, right? That's not fact. Pulling down her, people say she wasn't doing that on purpose. Bullshit.
The only thing women ever do on purpose is get naked.
Oh, bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like if Chris Mike was during an interview and he wanted to show he was sexually aggressive, bro, you grab your junk, right? You wouldn't grab your junk and not have a reason for doing it. You have the cognitive processes to be like, I shouldn't have grabbed my junk right now.
I'd have had to apologize and all that.
If like you grab the side of your jeans and shake it. You grab like maybe the tip of your boxer briefs and move it around, but you're not grabbing the actual genitalia because you know you would be called out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whereas a woman could be like, I'm just adjusting my shirt. This blonde chick was pulling down her bra and exposing her nipple in front of everything. I think it was it premeditated? I think it was.
Yeah, it was Trump's assassination.
Bitches are stupid, but they're not that stupid.
Well, would that be like exposure in the second degree? Because it's not like she thought about it like the day before. It was more so a crime of passion, if you will.
Oh, man, it's just.
I don't think it was like the woman was like, I'm gonna pull down my bra to get in bed from YouTube. I think it was more primitive than that. I'm going to pull down my bra to make him think unga boonga. I think that's what it was. But what do you think, Chris?
What I've found out, unfortunately, you have I don't know if I can say the term, the feminazis, these people.
Say it. Look, bro. Whenever I have people on my show, if you say something that gets me banned, I'm actually happy. I would much rather you say whatever the hell you want that gets me banned than me saying banger boy or goy slop that gets me banned. Like, I don't care. Honestly, man, you have free speech. You're black. It's confirmed. It's confirmed. You can say any slur you want. I do not care. But continue with your point, man. What do you think? Why do you think that white chick pulled on her bra strap to show her titty?
She did that to get his channel banned. Is another way, sometimes people will be in your, if you have a live chat, sometimes people will change their profile pic and they'll make it like their bare ass or their actual junk.
Don't give chat any ideas, bro. Don't give them any ideas.
Have you had that?
I've seen that happen to a lot of particularly people in this space. I've seen that happen to a lot of people, and then they'll get the channel.
There was a period where I was roasting white nationalists for being simps, and I had it could have been one guy, but I think it was like at least three guys. They'd be coming in with like Yahtzee swastika signs, and they would just all be typing out one letter at a time, racial slurs. And I'm like, they won't call in to debate me. They're just trying to get my channel banned because they don't like me. That's some pussy shit. Like, look, if you're an actual white nationalist and you want to argue to me the supremacy of white genes, you would be proud to actually call into my show and showcase your arguments. If you're a white nationalist and you change your profile picture to the swastika and you just type in one letter at a time, the N-word, you're a pussy. Like, by doing that and not calling in, you're saying, I can't actually disagree with this guy. I can't argue with him on a logical level. I'm just trying to get him banned from YouTube. You're admitting that your arguments can't stand up to me, and you're relying on the Jewish censor moderators to take care of your medium enemy. So are you really a white nationalist if you're depending on the supposedly Jewish moderators of YouTube to ban my channel because you can't actually talk to me? That's some pussy shit. It's like a black chick saying black men ain't shit. How am I going to prove that? Because this white man's going to make me scream on camera. It's like, okay, bitch, whatever.
That's another thing, particularly with the I'm not trying to help the white nationalists out, but I'll say this: there are a lot of white nationalist pages that I've seen on Twitter. They're ran by small hats. And like, well, you'll do the research. I'll say, for example, this one page, Garbage Human on Twitter. He's a Jew.
Yeah.
I did.
It's funny because like you see, I've seen this too. There's a lot of right wing Twitter accounts that will promote anti-black hatred, but as soon as so their audience is white guys, young white guys that have no representation, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as it comes to Israel, oh my God. I'm so happy that Israel killed a bunch of people with pagers. I'm so happy that Palestinians are dying. But their whole marketing is we're pro-white male. But as soon as it comes to Israel, they expose themselves. And they're taking L's, bro. Like they're taking L's left and right. Because every single time they tweet about Israel, there'll be a white guy being like, why do you care so much? Fuck them. And they'll be like, oh, it's not fair. Oh, I don't like it. It's like, oh, it's because you're Jewish, isn't it? Every single time, bro. I would say like 80% of the right wing, I don't want to say anti-black. It's more like anti-ghetto, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm anti-ghetto. The ghetto's a shithole.
Same
I
here.
want every single black man listening right now to leave the ghetto, to go somewhere safe, and to have a strong family outside of those influences, those feminine influences. But when it comes to ghetto shit, I'm like, dude, that's like Ice Spice. Like, look, Ice Spice. Whew, oh man, I'd give her a lot of children. Would I let her be in charge of raising my kids? Hell no. But I give her a lot of kids. But these right-wing Twitter accounts are like, look at this black man. Look at this black guy do this. Look at black. It's like, yeah, I understand. There's a lot of black people who are trash, but why? Why are they trash? Is it because of their genes? Maybe. Is it because of the cultural, economic situation they're raised in that the government promotes single mother households. The government promotes hypergamy, all that other stuff. So, because, I mean, we can both agree that black people acting a fool, but if I go, black people acting a fool because X, and you go, black people acting a fool because of Y, it's more of a discussion. But these right-wing Twitter accounts will be like, look at this, black people are animals, and they'll show like a video of 2 10-year-old black kids fighting each other, and it's just like, that doesn't tell me anything, bro. It's just kids fighting.
But yeah, that's something I try to tell. Particularly, I got a couple of people that like to join my stream, and I try to tell them, don't even worry about that. Just let's focus on what the main problem is, which is really just the single mammy epidemic, which nobody wants to touch, whether it be black, white, Hispanic. Nobody, for some reason, we talk about single mammies. That's when my comment section blows up. This is where people start stalking my actual Instagram account, talking about, oh, I saw what you post here and blah, blah. Like, you'll have there have been people, I'll say something about single mammies, right? Or something about what unfortunately young women do or young teenagers do when they're messing with older men and stuff like that. This is where then I'll have stalkers on my Instagram page trying to find out information about me, dox me, try to act like where I live and all that. So when it comes to the single mammy conversation, the right wingers particularly, they seem to skip over it, and I would think that side would be the first one to actually address it. But you see it even like with the black church. That's literally the biggest part of the congregation is like
Yep.
80% single mammies. You know what I
Well,
mean?
no,
So,
the simplest way to put it is that women are the modern god, incel is the new heretic, and since women are the number one spenders of money, anybody who worships money must cater to women because that's going to be their bread and butter.
wouldn't that make the conservatives though, like the modern? Wouldn't that make the conservatives the modern day Pharisees that Jesus hated? You know what I mean? Like,
Probably. I'm honestly not too familiar with the Pharisees, but if they were a bunch of fucking false prophets that misuse the word of God in order to promote their own heresy, then yeah.
yeah. Because if you really look at, because I use Christian examples because that's what the conservatives, you know, that's what. So when I use that example, and when you actually look at the story of Jesus Christ, he seemed to always have beef with the religious people of the law, the clergymen. They would call them Pharisees throughout the gospel. And I always made that, it seems that that's the connection I kind of, I try to make, that is.
I mean, like baseline, not super in-depth knowledgeable. Yeah, no, that seems reasonable to me to think of them as the Pharisees.
I think
if they are what I understand them to be.
I think it's very, I get a lot of haters coming to me, right? And they say, "You say you actually have sex with women. You say you lift a lot of weights. Why don't you show your face?" Right?
Oh man,
show face. In the last 2 months, because when I stream with the guys like Chris Mike, shout out, you have the mod perms on my channel, so you should come to my channel and post your YouTube page on my channel so you get some more subs, bro. Because a lot of my fans would want to follow you, so go ahead and do that. Mods in chat, if you can find Chris Mike's channel, post it up too. The reason why I don't show my face, I don't do any of that stuff, is I'm a white man. I'm a straight white man raised by a white father. I'm like the ultimate enemy of the left. I got Chris Mike here and reclaim the throne. 2 black men, okay, one in the South, one in the North. They show their face, and guess what happened to them within the past year? Rabid, feminist, leftists tried to ruin their lives in the past year. Both of them. Yeah. I'm a white guy. Okay, so I bring this up by saying, hey, Chris, tell me how the feminists tried to ruin your life. You got the floor, bro.
So in the music world, I've had one positive interaction, but a couple of negative interactions. So a couple of people, they found my page. So this is the danger of showing your face. So they kind of put it on a disguise. Oh, you know the same. They always say that. Oh, I like this, but I don't like what you said here. And I'm like, how did you find my page? Just like, God damn it. So unfortunately, because of that, a couple of gigs, I ended up finding out there was a couple of things that kind of got canceled for me because of my page. And there were a couple of I had an interview for a job recently. They found my page. So
no.
So because it's the what my dumbass did, I used the same I guess I don't know how they did it, but they kind of linked my band mix profile. I don't know if musicians use this thing called band mix, and they might, and I think they linked my email that I used for that to my YouTube channel, because I do have some music videos from like 2012, sorry, 2015, 2016.
What kind of music? What kind of music do you make?
Oh no, just keyboard covers. Just keyboard covers.
Ah, damn.
So
I'm looking for a rap producer. That's why I asked.
Oh, yeah.
Asking a black man to be a rap producer, Chronic. Come on.
I'm not thinking this dude's doing classical music. Okay, I'm just saying
he's not no Beethoven or Mozart.
I used.
Hey, Chaz, Beethoven was black, don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
I did produce a couple of tracks, but I haven't done that recently, and I didn't do that under I didn't do it under my YouTube channel name. I use like my regular name. I use a lot of pseudonyms to kind of hide what I do, so to avoid situations like that. So yeah, there was a couple of opportunities that did get shut down for me because of that. Then I had a situation on my Instagram several times. I've had women stalk me, literally stalk me.
Hot?
They were like, I don't want to say they're hot, because when you're stalking me, I hate you. So it's just like
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Do you have pictures of them?
Let me see.
Because I'll tell you, bro. Like some of these leftist stalker women. Because I was a sophomore in college, and there was a commie protest, and I went up to them and argued with them, and there was two chicks screaming in my face, and the first thing I was like, "Why are you so mad?" Like, because you're a racist, you're a sexist, you support Trump. And I put my hands up, and I'm like, "I support Trump, but I'll support you too," and it confused them. And I saw one of the girls at a bar the next week, and she came up to me when I was dancing with another chick. It was just like, "Would you really support me?" No lie. I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll support you and your friend." And there was definitely group activities that were scheduled after that conversation. So a lot of times, because here's my baseline rule: I don't give a fuck what women say. I don't give a fuck what women say. I know how they act. And so a woman that says, "I hate you, this politics, this opinion, I hate you," they'll still fuck you. They'll still suck you. They'll still go out with you on the porch of your college apartment and share a blunt with you and then suck your dick while you talk shit to another fraternity. That was me. Fuck Beta! Beta's a bunch of bitches. Hey, yo, fuck you, Chronic. Where you at? I'll fuck you up. I'm on the top story of this apartment. You want to come up here? Fuck me up, though. I'm going to get head until you fuck me up. They come to the apartment complex. They go to their floor. They knock on my door. What do? I don't answer it because I'm just trying to waste their time because I already got a bitch. I already got some weed. I'm wasting their time. And yeah, that fucking Beta. What was it? I don't remember the full name of that fraternity. Beta Sig? Beta Sig? I don't know. But there were betas. There was like beta something. But beta. Fuck beta. Anyhow, bitches will talk shit to you, but still want to fuck you. So, hey, Chris, maybe there were some bitches talking shit, but they actually want to have sex with you. I'm just trying to say.
No, but this is the crazy part. So, yeah, and now that I realize it, they never seem to be like older women. They always seem to be women college age. So,
they definitely want to fuck you, bro.
So yeah, you're probably right, but it's just okay. Let me give you an example. All the ones that have stalked me is where I would post a comment, just post a comment. I would never add nobody. It would just be me replying to somebody. Then it's a random broad just coming onto my page and just typing, spamming. They're like, "I want all of your followers to see who you are," and all this. I'm like, what are you doing on my page? Like, I even had one of them. They was trying to message the people, like message my friends, because I only follow like how many people I follow? Like 100 people. But it's
mother friend here. Mother friend reclaimed the throne. He lives in Georgia, near UGA, University of Georgia. He had leftists like white cuck boys, because that's usually Chris, whenever you hear someone that does like political violence, like someone shot at Trump. If I told you someone shot at Trump, who do you think they are? What's the gender and race do you think they are?
The person that shot at Trump?
Yeah, in general. Like if I said someone just shot at Trump, what gender and race are they?
Is usually like I was gonna say a white transformer. But,
that is very close. It's always a white boy.
Yeah. But
yeah. It's almost always a white boy.
Yeah.
So my boy, where you couldn't throw on a black guy, he had multiple white boys find his address, knock on his door to argue with him about politics.
Oh, that's wild.
Sure, bro. This dude is on gorilla mode. Like he posts clips of him on Twitter, like holding 100 pounds above his head as he's doing suicides. Like you see the picture. Like if I could just take his video and say, Africa is breeding super soldiers to grape all the white women, and I post his video, people are like, oh my god, they are like this guy is jacked, and these skinny little white commie boys are coming to his house arguing about politics. Like the idea that showing your face gives you validity, it doesn't. It makes you a target from these bitch ass white commie bitches. I can't stand it, bro. I can't stand it.
I mean, on the other hand, the Apollo Creed versus Ivan Drago remake is looking great.
Like, Chris, unironically, like, I'll give the most leeway at a bar to some black guys trying to fight me. It's like, I get it. You know, you see me, white guy with a big ass beard. You've been listening to CNN, MSNBC. You're upset. You think I'm racist, whatever. When a white guy tries to talk shit to me, like a white commie tries to talk shit to me, I am doing everything in my power to get in a legal fight with them because I want to give them so many punches to their body, their kidneys shut down. Like, I'm more racist against white guys than I am black guys because white guys have been giving white guys a bad rep for so long with these white commies, white feminists, white beta boys. So, like, when they come, like, you can't. I'll tell you the story, bro. I was at a bar in Phoenix, actually, golf bar, and I was talking to my Mexican friend about what kind of women I like, right? And so I was like, I'm talking to a black girl. He asked, hey, do you like black girls? I'm like, I do, but I like two kinds of black girls. Other than the black girls who are so white, like so light-skinned, they make me look black because they're like 5 times lighter than me. And I like the black girls who are so dark, it's purple down there, right? And so I was telling this Mexican guy that this morbidly obese Jewish dude at the bar. I say Jewish. I say Jewish because he was wearing a Star of David necklace. He's like, that's racist as shit. He just said it out loud to his girlfriend. Right? And I was like, what's racist? He's like, you're racist. I'm like, well, I'm racist. He's like, because you were talking about black this, black that. I was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. He's like, shut up. And his girlfriend was sitting next to him, trying to argue with me. And she's kind of chubby, but she has nice tits. I was like, trying to roast him. Like, you got bigger tits than your girlfriend. This Jewish dude's Jewish girlfriend was straight up told me, like, that's wrong. And she flashed me in the bar. I'm like, so you're going to make me a supposed racist? You're trying to punish me by showing me your tits? And so I was just like, are those real? She said, you should feel them. So I felt this bitch's tits and her. I looked over to her boyfriend and he was like acting smug as if I was getting owned. I'm like, good Lord, there is such a culture of cucketry being cuckolds in the U.S. I'm like, this guy think he sure thought he was winning over me because I was feeling his bitch's tits. I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm gonna go over the shirt. I'm talking about like, I was feeling them nipples, bro. And he was just like, yeah, you wrong because my girl's boobies are big. I'm like, it's just there's just too much. You can't even argue with these cucks, bro. They'd be like, oh, you're wrong. Have sex with my woman. I'm like, okay, I will. And then as you bang their chick, they'll be like, you see, I'm right. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. You can't talk to them. Anybody who wants to argue politics with you at a bar is almost guaranteed to bitch. I just feel like most right-wingers, most conservatives, whatever it is, they're not trying to argue politics at a bar. They're trying to drink and have fun. Left-wingers will argue politics at a bar because their entire life is arguing politics. That's how they get into heaven, is by proving that you're a racist.
So what you're saying, Chronic, is that you could potentially sleep with any Republic's girlfriend by implying that she's actually a dude in drag.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Gentlemen, take notes. We have the hack.
I don't know. I was trying to get him to fight with me, honestly. I was just like, bro, you're a fat piece of shit. You won't stand up from that bar. So I was like, you're fat too. I was on a bulk. I had a 4-pack at the time. I was just like, I will give you $100 if you come outside of this bar and fight me. I will pay you to fight me. Please. I was during, it was like right after the Rittenhouse verdict. So I was trying to kill a motherfucker. And yeah, it's a good thing he was a pussy. It's a good thing he was a pussy. And yeah.
Wait, there were white dudes trying to fight other white dudes over the Rittenhouse thing?
Hey, Chris. 30% of white guys are raging liberals. We're not unified on anything. Now I say white. This guy was definitely Jewish. Just off his nose. Maybe I've been listening to too many Mustache Man speeches with the AI English translation. But I would, if you asked me today, I would bet everything I had that this guy was Jewish. So he's definitely a Jewish liberal. Now, the way I can explain this to you, because not a lot of people say they're black when they're not black. Let me say it like this. Let's say there's a Black Lives Matter protest, right, Chris?
Yeah.
And the person leading it is a dark-skinned Indian, right? He's getting all the donations. How would you feel about that? And it's a Southern Indian pretending to be black, getting donations from black people because he's dark-skinned. Would you be upset about that?
Well, the normie black person, if they find that out, would be upset. But me, I don't care anymore about that stuff. Like I've been trying to.
What I'm saying is, if you see an Indian guy saying, "As a black man,"
I'd be offended. I'd be offended.
Yeah, that's what white people have been dealing with Jewish people for a couple hundred years. Like,
okay, that makes sense.
Jewish people saying they're white when they're Jewish. You can find meme videos about Jewish people on Twitter saying, white people, as a white man, as a white woman, this, we need to do this. And then the next tweet is, I'm not white, I'm Jewish. It's hard to explain to black people that Jewish people aren't white. But what I say is South Indian. Because when I talk to the black nationalists, say, oh, Jews are white. I'm like, well, hey, if Jews are white, then Southern Indians are black. I go, oh, they've never been slaves. They never picked cotton. I'm like, Well, Jews never died killing white people, which is dying while killing white people is the most white activity you can do. Any black man that died while trying to kill a cop, I'm giving him the white person pass. He gets a cracker. I don't care. It's the most white person activity you can do. So it's chameleons, right? But only Jewish people are allowed to LARP as white people, whereas South Indians, they're not black, they're Asian. Nah. If you're gonna say if you're gonna say Mark Zuckerberg is white, I'm gonna say Sanjay Gupta is black. He's a nigga. He can use the word with the hard R. That's the equivalent for me.
Well, that's the perfect analogy. I might have to steal that. I might have to, because now it makes sense on that end. But I've had to explain, to people too. Like but I used to say like there's a slight difference. There's like like in terms of, but it's not slight as small, but it's like slight as it's big, but they're able to disguise themselves as white or not white when it's convenient for them.
Well,
so
it's more like phenotype versus culture, right? So, I mean, I make this distinguishment between African Americans and Africans all the time. A beautiful African American woman is very different than a beautiful African woman, right? So, a beautiful African American woman, they're not even diamonds, bro. They're like plutonium. They're so rare. To find a beautiful African American woman that's not a crazy feminist, that's because y'all don't have Amish, y'all don't have Mormon. It's so hard to find that. It's like a white man fell in love with a black woman, or the rare black man fell in love with a white woman in a church, and they both raise their kids together, and they're still married, so the daughters respect men. It's such a rarity to find an African American woman who would make a good wife. And if you think about it, a black man that marries a white woman and stays together and raises their children effectively, they're probably not going to live in the hood. They're probably going to live around a bunch of white people, right? And if you have a African American girl who's raised around white people, who do you think she wants to marry? Probably a white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's who she's raised around. And so for the black men that escape the black community, because the black community is like 80%, 70% ghetto as shit, like feminist run, he's going to be in the same situation as her. But if you're a black man raised in the suburbs and you're trying to date your crush who's raised in the suburbs and everybody around you is white, she's going to look down on you because it's majority white men around her. So she has some positive qualities, but that African American woman raised in the West compared to an African woman raised in Africa, I guess it comes down to what you want your children to be. Because if I was a black guy in the U.S., dude, I would not even pay attention to American women at all, period. Right? As a white guy, I want my kids to be somewhat white. So, like, yeah, like, I've dated a couple black chicks who were 70% white. It's kind of weird how that works out. But I was a black guy, and I wanted children and a wife who would submit to me. Dude, I would not be looking at African American women at all. I'd be like, let me go to Kenya. Let me go to Mombasa. I'll find a good wife. But these African American women, oh, hell no, bro. We talk about cultural decay, cultural rot. Have you seen Ice Spice?
Yeah,
dude, I'm losing my connection with the black community because I can't even imagine. I can't. Like, I see videos of African kids, well, black kids, African American kids, like 10-year-old black daughters twerking to Ice Spice songs. Dude, I can't even imagine that being my kids. I just can't. Like, I just can't even imagine my 10-year-old kid twerking to a rap song on TikTok.
But that's the dangers of putting your if you are black, that is the dangers of putting your kids in a daycare center. You know, it's gonna happen if you if you are black and you have your kids raised in those, particularly the city daycares. That's gonna happen. You're gonna have these, because I saw several videos of that, of them not just only dancing to Ice Spice, but Sexy Red, all these other ones. You know what I mean? So that your best bet, in my opinion, if you're black, I think you have to homeschool your kids. I think it's
100%. Like,
you have to do it.
Let's be completely honest. Public school is just taxpayer funded daycare.
But how do you you say homeschool your kids? I agree. But what kind of partner do you get? Who's giving birth to your kids?
Yeah, that's the you have to make sure you have a family structure first.
Well, I was saying, because the white man, the average white guy, he can't go overseas. He doesn't have that money. And if black men on average make less than white men, which is true, how are they going to get a non-American woman? Like, all the passport bro problems white guys have is much harder for black men. And I'll bring this up too. You'll think this is interesting. White men have been passport bros. And when I say passport bros, I mean, like, typically, historically, white men who aren't attracted to white women. They're like a 5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10. They're like, wow, damn. Well, Asian women treat me so much better. Let's go for that. And that's been going on for decades. In the last 5 years, black men have been saying, be a passport bro. Go to South America. Go to Asia. And as soon as black men started talking about being a passport bro on social media, the mainstream media lost their shit. CNN, MSNBC. It's so strange because blacks are 13%, 20% at most, 15%, 15% of the U.S. population. But as soon as black men saying, black bitches ain't shit, let me go overseas, the entire mainstream media apparatus just started attacking them like crazy. White dudes have been doing this for decades. Why do you think the leftists want to control black men much more closely than white men? What do you think, Chris?
You know, when the plan B goes, you know what I mean? I kind of look at it as, you know, it's like, you know, the plan B men or the backup QB or the I don't know what a better analogy is, but when those guys decide to be like, look, I'm not going to be the second option no more. I'm going to go somewhere else. This is where the reing starts, you know. So that's kind of what it is. But particularly in the black community, you know, the men that leave are the ones that are like, look, I'm not going to be, since I'm not a Pookie, I'm clearly not going to be option number one. Let me leave. So I'm not going to be your option number two when you're done running the streets. Now you're looking for the quote unquote good man to take care of you and the other kids that you kept with the other dudes. So guys like that decided to be like, look, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just go overseas. I don't know the exact, I'm still a bit confused on why it was such a big deal when black men started to do that stuff. I still don't know the real reason why, but women can be very possessive just in general. Like like you're in high school. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I could explain part of that actually.
Yeah.
Do you know the statistics for black women on dating apps?
Oh, it's like really bad. It's like they're the least.
They're the least desirable race.
Yeah.
So think about it. With white women, like they don't really care that much if like all the white men go because they can still go for the black men. Who are the black women supposed to go for if all the black men leave?
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's only gonna be a few of that group that could probably date out, but for the most part, like I've even seen segments where you have so many black women complaining about their results on the dating app that they won't even put like they'll lie about their race on the dating app so they can get matches. So if black
Put themselves down as Asian, pretending to be Indian.
Like I don't know how they did it, but it was funny how they were explaining it, how they were just they were pretending to be something that they're not, so they can see the men that, because I guess they were able to see the men that were filtering them out. So it was kind of a weird concept.
Actually, funny thing.
Sorry to interrupt, Chronic. The stream's like lagging. Is it good on your end?
It's actually lagging on my end too. I can see it. So
yeah, people in chat are all saying, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah, it's on Chronic's end. All right, so yeah, maybe Chronic kicked his computer again or something.
Sorry to just
no, but actually no. It reminds me of an old funny story from Turd Flinging Monkey, because he actually like got advice to this one Indian dude who was putting his race down as Asian on a college application, and TFM said, "Dude, just put yourself down as black," and he immediately got in.
Ah, okay. So it's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, because there's probably tons of guys who are like, filtered by race.
He like.
Hey guys, I got a lot of big ass storms going on near my my current location, so we're not live right now. But I had to end the stream, unfortunately, because this keeps on going on and off. But hey, Chris, the stream's still technically going on, so throw up your super chat or throw up your link and such, and continue your stream of what you're going to talk about. But
oh yeah, I was actually because I was gonna ask like at around 10:30, because I actually told my audience, like, look, I gotta end this at probably 10. I might stretch it to maybe 10:15 or 10:30 because there's a lot of things I gotta do. But man, thank you, man, for having me on. You already
no problem. Anytime, dude. Honestly, anytime I'm streaming and you want to join and give your perspective, just hit it up in the chat box at me under Chronic of the chat. Say, hey yo, let me on. You got anytime, bro. Anytime.
Man, thank you, man. And you guys, man, thank you for helping, because I'm not good with words, like you guys probably could tell, but
hey, I'm not either, man. Like you're better than me.
What? Nah, it's just
bro, have you heard me talk?
Yo, Chris, this nigga's autistic, bro. You're better than him at least.
No. You know, like, no, when you guys talk, it finally puts it puts my crazy thoughts and it puts it in order. So now it makes it easier for me to do my other videos. So now I can, like, okay, this is what was said. I can now process it and give credit where credit is due. So that's what happens with me.
So most of the people, we're not streaming right now, but
I know.
Most of the people trying to like ruin your life or whatever from online, you never felt that they were trying to kill you, right?
I hope not, but you know, I grew up, you know, my family's more religious, so some people will go that far, you know, just over an opinion, over nothing. So I can't rule anything out, you know. And you know, you do have women that will go on your page and they might not try to kill you, you know, physically, but they will mass report your page. So I've often said, because of your Twitter, you know, Chronic, I think women are that you do your roasting on Twitter, and then the people that get offended, they mass report your channels.
Yeah, so funny enough, like the only time I had physically threatening things happened was the people who threatened me didn't even know I was chronic. I went to a bar in Fort Collins, North Colorado, and I was at the bar drinking. There was a Proud Boy event. This is back in like 2016, 2017. So they weren't terrorists yet. And their speaker, who was going to give a speech, didn't show up because they were concerned about their safety. And they were like confused and such. I was talking to one of the guys that organized the event. He's like, dude, our speaker left. I'm like, dude, I'll speak. I won't give a speech, but I'll do stand up. It's like, I'll let you know if he doesn't show up. He didn't show up. He's like, hey, yo, can we help you out? Can you help us out? I'm like, yeah. Let's stand up in Fort Collins, College Town. And I made fun of leftists, gender benders, whatever. I left. I did the infamous word. I did the infamous phrase, Transformers.
XY in disguise.
Transformers XY in disguise. And as I went home. I went through the gate. I closed the gate. I went home, and there were like 4 cars outside my gate, and these Antifa members at the bar, or one Antifa members at the bar. They called their other friends, and they were like punching the security camera, all this stuff. I came like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, "You're a fascist. You're a fascist." I'm like, "I'm not a fascist. Shut up." Now I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a fascist."
Well, yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, that's now. But I was like, "I'm not fascist. What are you talking about?" And one of them like pulled out a knife. And as soon as I saw him pull out the knife, I took out my handgun, I pointed at his head. I'm like, "I will kill you on camera, and I will jack off to the footage of your death the rest of my life." And it was a whole like police investigation of that kind of shit. But dude, I'm telling you, man, they will come to your house and they will try to kill you, man. You just have to keep shit locked down because these white monkeys, these bleach demons, these crackers, they have nothing to fight for besides their political beliefs. You got to be careful, man.
Yeah, I'll try, man. I'll try, but hopefully they don't take it that far. Hopefully, but you know, I don't put nothing past people. But the problem is, in my particularly in my life, is just once they find out that I really don't care that much when people are that mad at me. This is when they start trying to go after, your family, your loved ones. That's kind of how it's always been in my life. Like it'll be like, say, like a bully, if not a bully, somebody like older, something happens, I diss somebody, then they try to come after me, then they realize I don't care. And they're just like, oh shit, what can we, oh, he has a sister, oh, he has a, so
yeah,
hopefully
I live with my brother, right?
Yeah.
And although we don't like agree politically at all, it's one of those things where if I got doxxed and people found my address and leaked it, like what if it was just me, whatever. But like him, right? He does not need people coming to the house we live at just because I have the audacity to say, hey, maybe the 19th Amendment was a mistake. But like, so that's one of the reasons hopefully, I stand on anonymous.
Yeah, no, I'm really hoping for anonymity because, like, I've had my family actually harassed by the mafia before, so I'd rather they live out the remainder of their life not having to deal with that again.
I've told my audience, like, the mafia has not, like, people act like the mafia still doesn't exist. They're still here. That's why I tell people all the time, be careful. These people, they didn't go anywhere. They just do things differently.
It's so funny because like you hear mafia, what ethnicity do you think of?
Italian.
Yeah. The Jewish mafia. You know why the Jewish mafia is unknown?
Because we don't call them the mafia.
Because the Jews in Hollywood don't talk about them.
Oh yeah, they act like they don't exist. If you ask those people, like, I'm like, so how about the small hats having their own? They act like they'll act like you're talking crazy, but they exist.
It's so funny because you're anti-Semitic. The most beautiful women I've ever seen in my entire life are all Jewish. I can't.
Even post surgery, post nose job surgery. Like I know a lot of
unironically, bro. When they don't have the surgery, I like them more. I'm like, maybe it's like the Nazi German, because I'm like mostly Germanic. I'm like, the big Jewish nose, it just gets me going crazy, bro. I can't explain it. I'm like, maybe it's like I want to gas them and fuck them. I can't.
Yeah, it's like, hey babe, hey babe, did you just come out of the oven? Because you're real hot.
Exactly.
Oh man,
I can't stand. Even if they have small titties, I can't explain it, bro. It's like the Fuhrer telling me, like in a schizo dream, you have to have sex with this woman. I can't explain it. I can't.
No, that makes
I'm gonna head out. I gotta get some dinner. All right, you guys have a good night. It was good talking with you, Chris.
Man, you too, guys, man. Oh yeah, same here. I'm gonna sign out. You guys, man. You got, oh my god, I just checked into my stream. It's like everybody's here. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, go stream.
That's the point. That's the point. I gotta send more people your way. But hey, Chris, good night. Have a good night. Have a good stream. Hey, Chaz, I'll touch you on Discord, and Gray, keep it steady on the 3D printer, okay?
All right, take care, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Hey, peace out. Peace, guys.
Okay, let's go back here. I don't have that much time, but I'll say this. Let me replay this video for you, and how about this? Because I might have to go on. Let me replay this video for you guys. This particular video. This woman's talking about after 15 years, God said that this is not my husband anymore.
For 15 years, we were married for 7. It was a beautiful thing, and we still had, like, you know, the normal ups and downs. But I will say, we didn't have a relationship where we argued all the time. Yeah. We didn't have a relationship where we were dealing with infidelity or stuff like that. You know, during those times, we didn't have that type of relationship. So, because we were friends first. Yeah. You know, so it was always like, that's my homie. It was just something in me as a woman. I cannot explain it to where it was like I was battling myself. You feel like I'm trying to do the right thing, but it's something that's pulling me away from doing this. But why would it pull me away from my husband? I'm battling in the midst of that with religion, like what the people telling me at church and what I'm getting spiritual advice from. And then I'm battling with it with myself. Like, why am I feeling this way? I'm talking about I'm going to therapy for myself to figure out why am I feeling this way towards my husband. And the way I was feeling, it wasn't like I felt resentment towards him. It was almost like I was withholding a piece of me that I couldn't give him. I'm sitting on the couch and we had a small issue, and that small issue was back that pattern. Now, you done went to therapy for this. We done had talks for this. I done talked to you. What did you get from this after I said it? To make sure you understand, because I love to communicate. And I'm sitting on the couch, y'all, and I kid you not, God told me, that is not your husband. Wow. We were together for 15 years.
Using God's name in vain. These are the people that Mr. Charlie Kirk and company want us to marry. And just to let y'all know, it's not like, you know, obviously we can look at her chest tattoo. This is clearly a former thought. This is one of those women that was like, oh yeah, my body count don't matter and all that stuff. We already know she belonged to the streets. The streets came calling. She's just she was bored of the marriage. She wanted to cut it off. So we already know that. The problem is we already know with the divorce that she asked for, I'm pretty sure she asked for alimony. She definitely asked for money on the way out. And hopefully there were no kids that were involved in this process. But we already know with most divorces, especially after 15 years, or in her case, 15 years together, 7 years married, usually in cases like that, kids are involved. And this is what scares most men. But it is what it is. I'll do a video on that later. Let me quickly show the Charlie Kirk fiasco. Right? So Charlie Kirk was on Jubilee arguing with a college broad. Let me put this at 1.25 speed. Fair use, by the way. Fair
What's
use.
your name?
Naima.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, can I just ask, at how many weeks do you think that a fetus is viable?
Well, viability and moral worth are two different things.
No, but I'm asking.
So with this interview, the topic was, is baby deletion murder? Right? So she's obviously gonna argue for it. Now, Chronic had brought up the point where, have you had people stalk you? Now, interestingly enough, on Instagram, it's basically been 304s like this, who I don't tag. I don't respond to the, like, meaning I never respond to them in their original post. They'll find my page and talk crazy. You know what I mean? But usually people like that I avoid, particularly when you're talking about 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old college girls. I don't talk to them about politics because they don't know anything. They don't know anything about life. They don't know nothing about bills. They don't even know about the college loans that they're about to take out. They don't know about their philosophy. They're being currently brainwashed. So I usually have a theory that the reason why conservative men like Charlie Kirk, they like to argue with kids like that. Well, I don't want to say kids, they're adults. They like to argue with young women like that is because it's easy prey, it's easy target, and they're easier to look at than a 35-year-old feminist. You know what I mean? So they're just easier to look at. So when they're arguing with somebody, they don't feel like they're going to punch the woman in the face if she looks youthful and attractive. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, you're never going to see on my platform me bringing a feminist on and argue. And I'm going to show you why in just a second.
Asking you, at how many weeks do
Well,
you think
at about 20
is
weeks, a baby can survive outside of utero.
So it's actually 24 to 26
Well, it's
weeks?
20. The youngest ever in a NICU unit actually happened in San Diego, not far from here, and survived at 20 weeks.
Okay, so under Roe v. Wade, 93% of abortions happened in the first 13 weeks of pregnancy.
That doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you why that doesn't matter in just a second. Just a second. I'm just going to tell you why that doesn't matter.
That's 93% of the abortions happened well before a fetus is technically viable as a form of life.
Let's go into viability. So what is it about, let's say, a 6-week baby that has a heartbeat, its own DNA, fingerprint, brain waves, that is less moral worth than an 88-year-old right now with dementia in a home down the street? That person requires assistance, requires help. Why is it that the 6-week baby is of less moral worth?
Well, first,
fair use, by the way, fair use. And another common mistake that conservatives use, they use morality, they use Sky Daddy, aka Jesus Christ, right? These these things, they use they use morality, all these things. That doesn't matter when you're arguing with a feminist, right? You're arguing with a liberal woman. They're not looking to meet you in the middle. They're moving the goalposts as they go along.
First of all, it's not a baby, it's a fetus.
Well, what does fetus mean?
A fetus is in utero.
What does fetus mean in Latin?
What the f? I'm sorry, is this
It means little human being.
Ooh, the smile is very creepy. Okay.
Smiling is creepy?
No, your smile specifically.
Got it.
But let's go back to.
So this is where, first of all, that was a mistake. I don't know why he wanted to bring up what does fetus mean in Latin and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean nothing, you know. Now, also, you see her with the personal attack, you know. But unfortunately, Charlie Kirk is not. He's a bit ill-equipped to deal with this kind of a setting.
Dude, we're losing track here.
I think he saw what Ben Shapiro, like. I think what happened, particularly with a lot of these conservatives, they saw what Ben Shapiro did, or they saw what Steve Crowder did with his situation, and they thought, all right, this is an easy money grab, right? This is easy pickings. No, it's not. Even though they're college kids and they don't know what they're doing, it's still me myself, I'm not arguing politics with 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. That's not what I'm doing. Not with my time. And I could actually, dude, there's campuses that I can go to right now and set this up and get views as we speak. Believe it or not, I could do that, but that would kind of expose where I live. But I could do that, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I just believe it's just a waste of time, and it's a waste of my time. Okay.
No, but what species is the fetus?
The fetus is not a species yet. It's technically classified as a parasite until it is viable.
So
now, I want to talk to you about something very quickly.
I can't let you get past that. Are you saying a baby is a disease or a tumor?
A parasite is not a disease and a tumor. Those are not the same thing. A parasite is defined as something that cannot survive outside of its host. A baby, before it is viable, cannot survive outside of a woman's womb.
Got it. So let's extrapolate that.
So you have a woman, you saw the woman in the background agreeing with her when she's calling a fetus a parasite. So hear me out here. Obviously she's crazy for saying that, but this is where that term where she's talking about a fetus being a parasite, she clearly got that from a British comedian. So what happens in Britain, in England, it's common for British comics, right? It's common for them to refer to fetuses, babies in general, as parasites. So what she clearly did was copy from a liberal that copied from a British comic. Just hear me out on that. Just take my word for it, because I do pay attention to, when it comes to, British people, just British people in general. We talk about the Irish. So I'm sorry, the Scottish, the Irish, English, the Welsh, these people. I do pay attention to the trends that happen in there, because they do have some comedy stuff in there that's actually pretty funny in the past. Not now, but in the past. So there are several British comics that I already know off the top of my head, or British actors that would play with the term of calling a fetus a parasite. That's basically where she got it from. Now, the problem is liberals will take from these British comics or these people and try to make it fit into their liberal type agenda to make a point. But that's where she got that from. So that's not she got that from somebody else in shorthand. I know I said that very long, but she got that from somebody else.
Old people with Alzheimer's and dementia that are being assisted every day, are they parasites?
No, they're not parasites. They're human beings who are on the brink of death.
Got it. So my 4-month-old that requires mom's breast milk and requires daily changes and feedings cannot survive without its own. Is my 4-month-old a parasite?
Your baby can breathe on its own. Your baby can drink water from its mouth to its stomach.
But it can't.
So yeah, we're gonna leave this off, right? So let me bring up a story, and I'm gonna leave it off at this. Okay. This is a story that I covered. This is a story I covered last year, even though this happened 2 years ago, but I covered the story last year. This was a pregnant woman who was allegedly killed by a Navy officer. So Pookie right here, military Pookie, right? She was 20 at the time. Military Pookie was 26 or 27, if I'm not mistaken. She was 20 at the time, right? You see the headline, pregnant woman was allegedly killed by Navy officer, and family says it happened after she refused a baby deletion. So they were messing around for about a month or two. She got knocked up by military Pookie. At first, they agreed to do a early termination. And once the time came for her to hold up her end of the deal and do the baby deletion, she backed off and didn't tell him. Well, she backed off and then just kind of like broke up with him at the same time, or just like basically didn't call him about it. She just thought she was just going to keep his baby and then life will just go on. And he found her and deleted her and the supposed spawn that would have came out of that, right? Now, what was interesting about this story, the same people that you see in this circle jerk right here, that you think are reasonable people, right? Even though they're crazies. These same people right here, outside of Charlie Kirk, these crazy people out here that you see in this circle, right? It was black women in the comment section of this story saying that military Pookie here should have been charged with double murder. These are the same people in the other argument when we're talking about baby deletion that, oh, it's just a fetus, it's just a clump of cells. Well, she was only 2 months pregnant. So that's definitely less than 13 weeks. She was definitely less than 13 weeks. So it was just a clump of cells to him. Why does it apply to him? But I kid you not, in the comment section of the Instagram post, it was women on top of women on top of women saying that he should have been charged with double murder. Double murder. They were asking for, and I'm like, I thought it was a clump of. So when you're dealing with people like this is why I don't agree with you know what Charlie's doing, because a lot of the times he's just getting himself roasted. He's just getting, like, I've been seeing Charlie Kirk on his tour. He just keeps getting roasted on these kind of things, right? He just keeps getting roasted, right? You have this clip right here, another one. He's just getting roasted. He's just getting roasted.
And she was going to give birth, and she would and she was going to give birth, and she was going to live. So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got, and she was going to give birth, and she would and she was going to give birth, and she was going to live, would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's no.
So these are the people that you're arguing with. Like, I'm not arguing with people like that. I'm not. That's wild. I'm not arguing with people like that. I'm not. Let me see if I can find the other Charlie Kirk video that I saved. I probably didn't save it, but anyways. But yeah, I want you guys to research this particular story with Raquia King, I think her name is. When she decided to keep the baby against his will, he decided to take matters in his own hands. It was women clamoring that he should be charged with double murder, even though the fetus would have been no more than 2 months old. No more than 2 months old. And these are the same people that you're arguing with about baby deletion. They're just they're changing, they're moving the goalposts as they go along. So this is why I don't know. No, you're not going to see me argue. Sorry, you're not going to see me in public arguing with these people. Okay, that's it. That's it. You see, AJ, did you? Oh man. But anyway, man, that's all I wanted. That's all the logic. Exactly. I see the AJ. I see your comment. I saw your text, but I have to shut this down. I have to shut this down. Oh man. Yeah, I went way over time. But man, but when you're like, I'm just saying, when you're dealing with, the reason why I don't make videos about liberals, even though it's really easy money, I could do that, but that's it's almost like you're how do I say it? These are emotional terrorists. They're not, you're dealing with crazy people. They're not going to make sense. They're not trying to make sense. They're not trying to meet you in the middle. Right? And you know, oh, I see the comment right here. Let me see. I like this comment right here. Undying Rasputin. I hope I'm saying his name right. He said, I bring that ish up in as an argument every time about baby deletion, and the women and dudes in question freak the hell out. You know, that's, you know, that I've this is why I brought this up in public too, and I've gotten the same freak out reaction. They don't want to listen to logic. You're not dealing with logical people. When you're dealing with liberal men, when you're dealing with liberal women, you're not dealing with logical people. So I'm not going to go out of my way to appeal to that demographic. I'm not. Just the other day on my live stream, I talked about P. Diddy's intelligence and how he's a diabolical genius. And there was a it was either a black woman or a rainbow man that was talking about, I was praising Diddy for calling him smart. So you're not, you cannot win with these people. You cannot win with these people. They think that I like Diddy for calling him smart. I'm like, no, he's a diabolical person. This is why I would, if I knew somebody that knew Diddy, I would tell that person to stay away from Diddy, because clearly it's just like, but like you're not dealing with no logic. You can bring up their hypocrisy right in front of them, and they'll just look at you with a blank stare, just be like, they're just like, merp, that's how they're just gonna look at you, Shout out to AJ Rancid Reactions. He said all of these BWs don't want to admit that 40% of baby deletions are black, even though BWs are less than 7.5% of the population. And another thing, the most dangerous place in the black community to be in is in the womb of a BW. Statistically, those are just facts. Statistically, those are just facts. All right. Yep. No logic at all, just emotional outbreaks. That's it. No logic. You're not dealing with a logic. You're not dealing with logic, man. AJ said Ted Bundy was smart too. Doesn't mean I like the guy. But I had if AJ, you got to ask one of the people that was in the stream the other day. I had a little bit of a temper tantrum when I saw the comment. It was like you could ask Pyro. I had a little bit of a tantrum when I saw that comment. I was like, do I have to explain this ish to you? This is why I don't really like dealing with liberals in general. I just don't like dealing with those people. But I had a bit of a tantrum because I saw that comment. I was like, do I have to explain to you? Like, bruh. By the way, Ted Bundy would have a field day with these 304s. He would have a field day. You'll have the average broad will leave you on a date because you didn't want to pay extra for cheese or something crazy like that. They'll leave you or not even show up on the date. But then they will fly halfway across the world just because somebody pay them a plane ticket because they think the person across has some kind of clout, or they gave him some money via Cash App or Zelle or Venmo. Ted Bundy would have a field day, an absolute field day, But I'll say this in this story. I remember when I did cover this pregnant woman story where she, I do remember one black woman, and I do got to give her credit. She was like, "Man, this story's a mess." She. This is what she said verbatim. She was just like, "I'm gonna keep what I'm thinking to myself because this whole story is a mess." And I already knew what she meant by that. She really wanted to be like, "Why you want to keep his baby if you don't want it?" You know what I mean? But if you look up this story, man, it was funny because it was people talking about he needs to be charged with double murder. And these are the same liberals that want to tell you, oh, it's just a bunch of cells and oh, you it's not a life, but you want him charged with double murder. How does that work? Like say if a liberal was pregnant and she wanted to keep the kid and she was like 2 months pregnant, and say if she slipped and fell at a grocery store and she lost her child because of it, she would not only would she sue the grocery store, she would sue the grocery store on the premises of, yo, you took you took a life. Even though I didn't die, but my child died. I'm like, but I thought it was a clump of cells. So these are the type of people you're arguing with. You're not going to win. This is why I vehemently disagree with that format of having a bunch of broads around you, the fresh and fit style, no disrespect to them, the whatever podcast, no disrespect to them, but that kind of style when you having all of these young broads that don't know nothing about nothing but are given everything already at such a young age, that you're not you're not gonna go nowhere. You're not gonna go nowhere. Before I sign out, I want you to check out. Let me show you guys something. Because before I started doing podcasts, I was doing podcast. I was basically my cousin gave me my first start on being on a podcast. He had his own show, right? Let me see if I can put on his thing. Pause. So my cousin had his own podcast. You know, it was a lot of music, but he had his podcast. I did have shows on there. I don't know if I can shoot. It's a long scroll down, but on his channel, here's that's me on one of these channels. There are videos that he had to delete, right? There are videos that he had to delete where I would go on the show. It would be me, him, and a broad that he knows, right? And he would have to delete, like he had to delete one of the shows because it was two girls I was doing the video with, right? Okay, let me put it off me. Two girls I was doing the video with. My cousin asks, yo, would you let your girl go to a male strip club? And all I said was, no, that's crazy. Like, that's single woman activity. I would not let that happen. Do you know those girls? And they were like, what? She was, yeah, one of them was like 26, another one 28 or 29 years old. Do you know that they were about to fight me over that? And I thought they were joking, but his manager had to intervene in the show and be like, yo, you guys got to relax. And I was like, oh, they're serious. They're serious. So you're dealing with people that are trolls at best. They're not even trying to meet you in the middle. So usually my strategy when you're dealing with crazy people like that is you let them live in the la la land until it's time to pay the piper. And then you just bring up what they said. You'd be like, well, didn't you say this? These are your words. You can't escape this. This is the plate. This is your words. You now have to eat it. That's the best you can do, in my opinion, when you're dealing with something like that. Now, oh yeah, and shout out to Chronic, because I don't know, maybe Pyro can bear witness, but I've shown my Instagram page where I show some of the stalkers that would be on my page just because I said something on a comment section or I said something on my YouTube channel and they would find my page. And I do notice that the women that would stalk my page are always between the ages of 18 through 20, and they can't be no more than 23 years old. So when you're dealing with, just college aged women, I just for me, I just avoid talking to them or arguing with them about politics. So for example, recently I was on a date. Black girl, right? She wanted to she wanted to know so bad, who am I going to vote for? And I'm like, can we please talk about something else? And because I said that, she's like, you're voting for Orange Man, aren't you? And I was like, I didn't say that. And but I was able to kind of maneuver past that conversation, and we were talking about something else, but she just could not get past. She just couldn't get past me just like not even making a decision over that. By the way, she was 21 years old. 22. She was 22 years old. 22 years old. I'm 26, right? I'm gonna meet with her. I'm gonna meet with her again, mind you. But she just could not get past that baseline politic discussion. Out of everything that we said that night, she just couldn't get past that one. You know what I mean? So when you just when you're dealing with people like that, it's a lose-lose. Let me see if there's one more. JS Urban said, I just came by to say the thumbnail is hilarious. Thank you. You know, I found that picture. Let me see if I can bring up that picture. I think it's funny too, man. Let me see if I can bring up that picture. I know what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about. Let me see if I can bring up that picture. Let me add overlay. Let me add the picture, and we should be in business. But this is my thumbnail. I want people to take a look at this. This is for the trads right here. This is what, unfortunately, a lot of trad men, they're gonna fall for it. They're gonna fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. Right here. Yo, body count. You see the woman on the left, body count 30, even though it's way do the 30 times 3, mind you. Used up. And then once they hit, ironically, I guess they use the number 30 ironically, because once she hits the age of 30, this is when she's going to find the quote unquote holy Bible. She's going to put on a trad dress. She's still going to have the same body count, but she's just going to be dressing differently and dressing all conservatively and a la-di-da. But she's going to be standing on the Bible and acting like that's what her life is. This is what's awaiting most trad men. This is what, like, they don't even know, because you could kind of avoid that if you just date younger. Like if you're an older man and if you're comfortable dating a woman that is college age, you can maybe avoid that. Like if you're dating a college age woman that didn't go to college, then maybe you could avoid that. But we already know most of the trad dudes, they're not going to marry. The woman that they're going to marry is going to be the minimum age is going to be 28, 27 or 28, because that's around the time they hit that phase where they're just like, okay, I got to find a simp, right? Or, you know, past the age of 25, that's where they're like, okay, I got to find a simp. You know, that's around that age. Then that's where the transformation happens. This is where the transformation occurs, right? Oh, Lord. Pyro says she got that fupa. Oh, yes, the born again virgin. Oh, yeah. And like I said, you know, because, you know, black women used to be the queen of that, the born again virgin stuff. So we already, like, I'll say the reason why I'm a bit of a head on that, because, you know, black dudes have been going through that for years, where basically the black church, especially in the past, but we're just so used to the black church being basically full of women that used to be passed around in the streets, and then once they hit 40, they hit the age of 40, or they're in their 50s, they turn into judgmental church ladies that's trying to sleep with the pastor. You know what I mean? That's gonna end up, that's the future of white women in general in those churches as well. That's what it is. Born again 304s. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I went 1 hour overtime, man. But shout out to the war band that invaded this stream, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. Because I did not know it was gonna get this way. I had to make some itinerary changes, but I think it's all worth it. I think it's worth it. You know, doing this for you guys is it's always a pleasure. And like Undead said, if you guys are thinking about starting a channel, do not show your face, because I have been dealing with it. So he is right on that end. So don't show your face. AJ is he's straight. AJ didn't show his face, so he's straight on his channel. Doug MPA didn't show his face, so he's good. I fucked up. You can see on my channel, on my shorts, I be showing my face all the time, and my Instagram is linked to my channel, and you can see my face. So I already messed up on that end. But man, Pyro said Chris already showed my face. But yeah, I know what Pyro looks like because he's actually like he's video chatted me to check up on the brother, which I appreciate. But he still he should be good for the most part. But yeah, guys, don't show your face. Don't show your face. But man, thank you guys for tuning in. Man, thank you guys. The War Band, thank you. Doug MPA, the usual suspects, thank you guys, man. Pyro, thank you. Lorette, if you're listening, thank you very much for the for some of the videos of this for today. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, man. And I gotta be out of here. I gotta be out of here, man. Thank you guys, man.